Strike him out. 2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Welcome up. Chris Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Dodger Heads Live, the home of the 2024 World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. The largest comeback in a World Series clinching game in Major League history, and the Los Angeles Dodgers have done it. This is Dodger Heads presented by DodgerBlue.com. I am Jeff Spiegel. That is Anthony Witrado. 4 years ago, I ended every show by saying still champs, folks. The Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champs. Soak it in. Anthony, how we doing?
Man, we're doing good, Jeff.
We're bringing out the good stuff, huh?
We're doing good, buddy.
I got Vince Scully on my shirt, R.I.P., in honor of. I kept telling people, Anthony, it's a movie. It's a movie. Down 4-0 in the beginning. I said, folks, the movie's going to be better when they come back. I joked it was my Mona Lisa tweet because they freaking did it. And Anthony, Walker freaking Buehler. Nobody on this team got crapped on more than he did. He closes the game out with all curveballs. All curveballs. The new and improved Walker Buehler. Unbelievable stuff. I joked with Anthony in the private chat. We're going to have people popping in and out throughout this one. I can guarantee it. And how about that? $100 super chat from Trust Genius Worldwide. Dodgers 2024 World Champions. Let's go. Dodgers. Scott Geirman hopping in the party. Greg Bergman might be joining as well.
Yeah, boy. Scotty.
Anthony,
Scotty
talk to me
G.
real quick. This game, Flaherty goes out. They're getting their butts kicked for 5 innings. Lucky with some errors from the New York Yankees. But the word of the year, 2023 was the year of the gritty Dodgers. Scott knows. 2024 is the year of the relentless Dodgers. 5-0 in the World Series. 0 craps given, Anthony. They come back to win it.
It's considering the way the season went for them, this really feels fitting.
Yeah.
Like the starting pitching blew up on them. The bullpen bent a little more, but it didn't fully break. It didn't snap in half. And the offense just had to grind. Like this wasn't a 4-homer game. And they scored 7 runs. You know, they're a slugging team, but I think they're just a team of like really good hitters when they're patient enough, right? And we've seen it all season. And then and Walker, Blake Treinen and Walker Buehler coming in and shutting the door there. It just felt fitting. And I personally think Walker earned consideration for a new deal from this organization.
Yeah. Lifetime deal, baby. Sign him up for give 5 years. Give him that glass. I was ready to give Flaherty that glass now money. Let's give Buehler that glass now money, baby. Lifetime contract.
But if this for some reason happens to be the last pitch he's throwing as a Dodger, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All time. Legend stuff.
Thank
stuff.
Thank you.
I'm getting Greg Bergman in here. I'm going to go to Scott Geirman. Greg, I don't know if you knew this. The Dodgers won the World Series. I don't know if you caught
I'm wide awake. I know quite well.
What are we drinking over there? Anthony's got Don Julio. What do we got over there, Greg?
Champagne. The Vouv.
Champagne.
Come on now.
Okay. Did you get the good?
Come on, let's get some little energy. The Dodgers won the World Series in 5. Come on now.
Is corporate Greg paying for the good stuff over there? We got like the $5 bottle from 7-Eleven.
This is just Greg Bergman. This is not corporate Greg. I am pumped. I am happy. This is an all-year thing. All of you guys, Dodger Blue, everybody, and I did it on the Blue Review from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Been there every single day in, day out, and it finishes with an amazing championship. Coming from 5-0 down, getting 5 runs, and none of them earned off of Garrett Cole somehow, to then go down 6-5. Mookie Betts gives you the game-winning run. Walker Buehler was a dog. It was amazing. Blake Treinen, come on now. That was absolutely incredible. I got like 3 minutes, but I just wanted to pop on here and say hello. Scott, how you feeling, buddy?
Talk to me, Scott.
I'm just chiming in. Chat, Anthony, Jeff, Greg, good to see you, man. I mean, very emotional night. Right when it happened, immediate, I'm emotional guy. Tears hit hard because that was, down 5, looking at the game and already get the gears turning. And then you see what goes on. And just like Jeff says, the year of relentlessness. This was the relentless Dodgers. They have all the tools to dominate teams. And what they do, dominate to come back and, snag this one, capitalize on mistakes, relentless stuff. So one of the gutsiest performances I've seen from Blake Trinan. Throws 33 pitches on the 26, comes back. And it was like, you're looking around, who else is going to go? You're like, right. Walker Buehler's got to come in at some point.
I told you in the 5th, I texted the group chat and I said, Walker Buehler's closing this freaking game out. I'm just letting everybody know it. It's coming.
I was on board with baby right away. Yep. And then just turn it over to Walker Buehler, just storybook stuff. Like it, chat, we talked about 2018 a ton. These guys, like those core memories for us. And that like completed a full circle with Walker Buehler. And just, it felt there was no doubt. That knuckle curve ball just etched in my mind and just a really emotional stuff tonight.
Greg, I know you got to run here in a second. Give me one last thought here on the 2024 World Series champs.
It was all just an incredible year all the way around. There was a crazy ups, crazy downs. They always just felt like the best team. Even when it started getting close, it just still felt like, okay, if the starting pitching is not there, the lineup 1 through 9, the bottom of the lineup is going to come through. The bullpen is going to come through when it really, really matters. You just felt like they were all going to come through. And Freddy Freeman, I mean, can we just give a little bit of love to Freddy Freeman for just a minute? A lot of love.
I was prepared to give him 35 minutes of love, but as much time as you want, Greg, it's yours.
There's going to be a love fest for Freddy Freeman.
This guy, this is a Hollywood script written just for Freddy Freeman.
It's a movie.
It is. To having his son being in the hospital, having to leave the team, and then coming back because miraculously he got better and he was able to come back. Look at that. Then all of a sudden he hurts his ankle and he can barely play, and he has to leave Game 6. He can't play in Game 6 of the NLCS, an important game in the NLCS. They still get the World Series. He gets a little bit of time off. He comes up. He gets a walk-off grand slam in Game 1 against the Yankees in the bottom of the 10th for maybe the greatest
Mount Rushmore moment
history of baseball, period. Yeah. Dodgers, Yankees, you can't get better than that. This is a movie script amongst the moving scripts, and it was just fantastic. I love everything that Freddie did, and he deserves the MVP, deserves everything. I love this team. I was 5 years old when 1988 happened. We all saw the 2020. This is the one. This is the one that feels the best. The one that you actually are going to remember for the rest of your life. I'm so pumped. I'm so happy. And boys, cheers to a victory.
Cheers to you, Greg. We appreciate you hopping on and joining us here tonight. Enjoy the rest of the celebration. Freddie Freeman speaking to the media right now. So shout out to Freddie Freeman. I mean, this game seemingly had everything from the Dodgers. You had them clawing back. And look, I don't know if this was the finest week of Joe Davis's career, but I thought he said a few things tonight that really stood out to me. And I joked with Greg a couple days ago. First of all, Aaron Boone is who Dodgers fans think Dave Roberts is. Like the people that hate Dave Roberts, they actually think they're hating a guy who manages like Aaron Boone, who is a disaster in every sense of the word.
I agree.
This team played fundamental baseball, Scott. This team didn't make errors. They had how fitting is it that they get 2 sack flies to win the game? Gavin Lux, the guy that people buried and then resurrected and then buried him again. He gets a 3-2 count with the bases loaded in the 7th inning of the top of the 8th of the World Series. And Gavin Lux puts that ball to dead center. Mookie Betts, same thing. First pitch, dead center. Dodgers just running balls out. I can't get over it. This team from top to bottom, the performances that these guys put together, unbelievable. And we could just go up and down the list, right? You mentioned Blake Trinan. Holy crap. He got 7 outs for this team. I love the moment. Quintessential Dave Roberts. When Dave Roberts goes out, says, "You good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then Dave gives him 2 hands to the chest. I mean, that's Scott. That's movie
Jeff.
That's storybook stuff right there.
It's moments. It's stuff that, like, I've said this before. Like, I think I said this, a couple days ago when we were up 3-0. I was saying, not just because they were up 3-0, I was saying this was my favorite team. Like, this was my absolute. I know a lot of people are going to say 2017. Everybody's got their own stuff, but for me personally, like, my favorite team has been this. the roller coaster, the ups, the downs, the moments where you're saying, let's get this team back to center to where we know how they can be successful. Find that identity right after the deadline. We remember tweeting out saying, and then, speaking with you, it was that find this team's identity. And they did. They got their gears back. Muncy, Edmund, right in the lineup. Anthony, I got the biggest martini in the world for you. And just what we've seen. And that comeback right there. And just like you said, Jeff, Weaver comes into the game, doesn't look incredibly sharp, pitching through 3 straight days. On the 6th pitch of the at-bat, Gavin Lux could have extended each time, fastball up, took there right there, and just incredible stuff to manufacture runs when you just absolutely needed it. Seeing when Mookie Betts hit the sac fly and he pumps his fists, that stuff is what I look at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that type of gratification, when you watch these players day in and day out and listen to them, that's the stuff I look for. And I log that all right here. So
Scotty, wasn't it amazing to watch them like down 5-0? And what those at-bats look like. And then as soon as the window opened just a little bit and a little bit of daylight came in, their strike zone went.
Yep. It was right when Garrett Cole started to miss a few.
Changed.
Yeah. I got to go back and find the at-bat. It was the first one of that inning, and you could see he wasn't as sharp with his command. And then you started to see a little something. You're like, now you've got to start chipping. And of course, Freddie Freeman gets that knock right there, but it was like you could see it a little bit of a door. I love that. Yeah, a little bit. You give him a little bit of air. That's why, like Game 4, it was like if you can slam the door, you do it. If the Dodgers, you've got to do anything you can to slam the door. Relentless.
Well, and I just want to say 2 things. We all, like, regardless of who won this game, we all just watched one of the greatest World Series games of all time, period. Ever.
Even with that floppy
has never been done. Has never been done in a clincher. The Dodgers do it. They do it in dramatic fashion. They give up the lead. They come back. They score 2. Walker Buehler closes it out. Blake Trinan, gutty performance. I mean, this game had literally everything that you could possibly ask for. Everything that you could possibly ask for in a baseball game. And it cements Freddie Freeman's home run as a Mount Rushmore moment of all Major League Baseball history ever. Walk-off grand slam, biggest World Series in 40 years. Game 1, walk-off grand slam at Dodger Stadium. Kirk Gibson anniversary. Like, come on now. Absolutely nutty stuff from the Los Angeles Dodgers. So let's get to some of these super chats. We got a lot of them, which is going to be awesome. 300 says, if you would have told me on September 1st that Walker Buehler would be pitching the 9th to clinch the World Series, I'd have told you you're high as a kite. Great job, boys. Great job. Can we give a shout out real quick? Dave Roberts managed his freaking ass off tonight. He did not let a single pitcher go too long. He hung, and it was like, hey, Vesia's in. He's struggling. Go get him. Trinan comes in what was it, the 6th inning? And everybody's like, what the hell are they going to do? And it's like, you figure that crap out later. Like, this isn't a victory lap, okay? I'm saying this. It's not a victory lap. Yesterday allowed them to pitch the way that they pitched today. And I'm not saying they did everything right yesterday. I'm just saying if Blake Trinan pitches yesterday, he ain't throwing 7 outs worth of stuff tonight. Like, the Dodgers, with what they had tonight, managed their ass off. And Walker Buehler, obviously, guys bailed Dave out. Because if Trinan can't get you 7 outs, if Walker Buehler doesn't have it, this thing goes sideways. But Vesia wasn't on top of it. Gratterall, not on top of it. Kopech had to come in the 4th. Like, Anthony, I just feel like for as much criticism as Dave Roberts has fielded long-term, but also just in the last 24 hours, it put in a near impossible situation with what Flaherty gave him today.
Yeah.
Every single button was the right button. Here's another thing. Who was the guy that everybody wanted out of the lineup today? Gavin Lux. Who hit the game-tying sacrifice fly? Gavin Lux. Like, it's little things like that where you can't make this stuff up. Dave believed in Walker Buehler. Like, he kept him around. He kept giving him shots, and he pays him back. Like, this is a victory lap for Dave Roberts, and we can stop talking about his contract for a few years.
A couple of things on him. I've written in different publications. I wrote it for ESPN. I wrote it for Bleacher Report once, and I have written it for Forbes that he should have been done at different parts of this tenure. Yeah. And at the time, I believe those were true. I believe those were, I think that analysis was correct. I have not thought that the last couple years before this. I just thought he didn't have the ammunition. And this year, I did not think that. I didn't think that at all, really, this year. I know a lot of fans did. I disagreed with some of the things he did in the Mets series. I absolutely disagreed with what he did yesterday, although that wasn't just his call. I understand that part of it too. Now, it's amazing how good you can look, cough, cough, Bruce Bochy, when you have a bullpen who can get outs when they need outs. And because, look, a couple guys give up base hits in those situations, and all of a sudden Dave left that guy in too long, or the same complaints that we've heard in different postseasons from him. But understanding that those guys were leverage arms, he could trust certain guys in that bullpen, and he deployed them the way he deployed them. This was a masterclass for him. It is as good a job as he's done as a manager since he's gotten here. Yeah. It is head and shoulders the best job he's done since he's got here. And you know what? This one earns him the right to say, I'll tell you when I'm done now.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're going to run through some super chats. Ivan says, fitting Verdugo struck out for the final out. I had a buddy who's a Red Sox fan.
I love it.
I had a buddy who's a Red Sox fan text me in the bottom of the ninth and said, I just want you to know, I guarantee I will be happier than you if Alex Verdugo makes the final out in the World Series. So shout out to the Red Sox fans who, honestly, Dodgers, if the Dodger fans are at a 10, because that's as high as you can get, Red Sox fans watching Alex Verdugo strike out to end a World Series game in which the Yankees blow a 5-0 lead. I mean, it's got to be like a 9.1 or something over in Boston.
I have a very good, one of my very good friends is a Red Sox fan.
Me too.
Hates Verdugo.
Same.
Loves Mookie. He was as big a Dodger fan this series as we were, and because they were playing the Yankees also.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sounds like my life too, buddy. I got one of my best friends is a Red Sox fan, and when Mookie got traded over, he tried to cope for a bit that that trade was even for a bit, and then he's like, nah, man, Mookie's a diehard guy, and then he even texted me saying, proud of Mookie. We're friends tonight, but tomorrow back to enemies. But even Verdugo, he always knew like that 10-year stuff. Like, Verdugo's a yapper, man. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah. Shout out to my buddy Jake, who was in the building tonight, bought a ticket on a whim, and was there down the right field line celebrating, I'm sure. Shout out to Jason, who's typically in with us, sent us a picture from Times Square, watching on the big screen. Hopefully Jason makes out of Times Square. Let's hope,
we talked about Doc too, but Mookie, he had all the heat for two falls. And coming into this one, he took all the heat, and he wore it coming into this postseason in those press conferences leading into that NLDS. He wore it, and he said he needed to be better. This moment for him tonight, I know he's not the MVP, but he had a fantastic postseason. He had a really good World Series.
Incredible.
And I believe he reached base in the last 11 games of the postseason is the stat.
That RBI for him to help drive this thing home. I love you, Mook. I love you.
That's why I said that gratification right after ball off the bat. You saw that right there. And it was just those moments, those things like Chad, we've been here the whole time. I've said it, consume as much media about this team as you can. Watch everything, read everything. These guys, this is a hell of a team. And it speaks to a lot that they were open about how much cohesion they had, like how much they came together, stuff they hadn't done in years past. We all clamored and, we're upset that, this team wasn't, dialed in going into the postseason. We heard it loud and clear. They came together. Max Muncy said they didn't practice harder. They just hung out more. They came together as a unit, as men, as a team. And that's beautiful stuff. That's movies type stuff. That's the team that you fall in love with. And you remember the 2024 Dodgers gave you a season that you will never forget.
Mookie Betts ends the playoffs leading the Dodgers in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage, obviously, as well as OPS. So how about that for a guy that first couple of games, we heard a lot of 0-for-22 talk. Destination all, playoffs expose your weaknesses. Yankees awful defense exposed. Buehler and Treinen for president and vice president. I don't know. I think there might be some pushback to a Blake Treinen involved in politics, but shout out to Blake Treinen. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, believe what you want to believe on a night like tonight, Blake Treinen. You deserve it. J-Riff, $20 super chat. World Series champs, baby. Bring back Buehler. Bring back Teoscar. Look, we got months to talk about it.
Yeah.
Get the band back together. So you can't win a World Series. Those guys want to be back. Money's not going to be an issue. Make it happen. Tim G, Butane was fire. Freddie MVP. The entire team played like champs. Let's go Dodgers. Couldn't have said it better. Peyton, this movie script was written by the baseball guys. I mean, look, I joked about it on Twitter.
You text me early in this one, Jeff, that this just makes the movie better.
Yeah. I won't tell them what you texted me in the first inning of this one, Anthony. We'll save that for another day. All right. But look, I'm not going to tell you I believed it 100%. But like this team, man, this team, shout them out. Stephen T. Thank you, Angels. Thank you, Otani, for deferring. Thank you, Andrew Friedman, for signing and trading for studs. Thank you, Dodgers. Suck it, Lisa. You know what you did. Not sure about that last one, but shout out to that, I guess.
Crazy comms.
What?
It's crazy comms from that one.
Evans Royalty, we're the 2024 World Series champions. Thank you. Tabari, it's just us on top. Again, folks who have been here for a while, get used to it. The next 12 months, every damn sign-off you're going to hear from me will not be Go Dodgers. What's it going to be? Still champs. Throwback. That's the original. That's the OG.
Series champs. Yep.
That's the OG 2020. For the next 12 months, still champs. Still champs. Hopefully for the next 24. Amanda Z, congratulations to the Dodgers and to all of us. Cheers. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to over 3,000 people being in here. That number's going to grow because people are partying. Together. People are ready to celebrate, folks. Yeah. Hawaiian Kira, the Bullpen Dogs. Look, for what this group has been through, 7 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 8 walks. Okay, we can ignore that number. 8 strikeouts. I mean, it's just a grind. Nobody gave up more than a run. Bonda survives. Brazier survives. Kopech survives. 2 base runners. Vesia, 2 base runners, survives. Gratterall, 3 walks, sort of survives. Blake Trinan, 7 freaking outs. And it's legend. Like it's. I remember. Yeah. I'll never forget certain moments from 2020. Mookie's defense, Will Smith's home run off of Will Smith, Bellinger's home run, Urias closing it out. Like those are pinnacle moments. Blake Trinan's forever a Dodger because of what he did tonight. 7 outs. He didn't get the final out. Guys that like Freddy Freeman forever. Blake Trinan forever. Walker Buehler forever. Those 3 dudes, like Scott, it's iconic stuff. Like it's in pictures on my wall 6 months from now stuff from those 3 dudes. And Mookie like didn't have a signature moment necessarily. I just said it. He had the best postseason of any Dodger. But like those 3 dudes, Freddie 4 home runs, games 1 through 4, the walk-off, Trinan 7 outs tonight, Walker Buehler freaking shoving in his start, and then a 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts. Like, come on. All-time stuff. All-time stuff.
You know what that like? Yeah. They pitched like guys who were exhausted and said, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure out how to string together outs, and we're gonna piece this thing together, one guy after the other. And that's what they looked like. They were gassed, man, and rightfully so. They were leaned on all summer long, and they got leaned on all fall long. And
well, my brother texted me in the Trinan comes out. He's throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. I got my brother in my text messages saying, "Homie, chill out. We need way more than you. We can't be throwing 98." But it's like it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He went out there. The Frisbee was working. He couldn't locate everything, but when he needed to, he got it. Miel, Dave Roberts, Hall of Famer. Otani, a champ. Butane will definitely be back. Never lost faith when we were down 5-0. 2020 narrative, no more. Man, I love the Dodgers. World Series, we champs. Look, I've gotten crushed for saying it. That Dave Roberts is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Dave Roberts is a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's this secure.
World Series greatest winning percentage in Major League history. That's what Dave Roberts already has on his resume. He's not that old, and he's about to get an extension with the best roster in baseball. So
it's gonna be a no-brainer between next year and then 2 seasons that follow that. When he pockets another one, there'll be no debate.
Well, Otani wrote in his life plan 3 World Series, so he's got 2 more to get. Scotty, what were you going to say?
You know, you're talking about Dave Roberts and how it's Hall of Fame luck, but people talking about 2020, I understand. Like, I get it. Like I like with Dave Roberts, I tuned in when we're on here talking about Joe Davis, bringing up 2020 stuff like that, like crazy. Now, I understand the full season stuff. What this does now is solidifies this Dodgers team overcame the biggest hurdles. This is problems that teams endure, but they don't make it this far.
Yeah.
Teams like this, Dave Roberts even was asking, he said, I didn't know who the hell Ben Kasparius was. Ben Kasparius goes out there, does his job yesterday. It's just a band of guys they got together. You look at a box score like tonight, you pull up a box score from today, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers. Is that 8?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
8 pitchers.
8 pitchers going. Yes.
6 of the 8 had a walk, by the way.
And you came back and won a clinching World Series game.
Yeah.
And you got to see your offense at, what they did to come back,
Grind it.
and scratch and claw against an offense that had all the momentum. Hey, Blake, momentum's a real thing. I'm just going to tell you right now, momentum is real. It's real because in that inning, when they came back, yes, you felt the pendulum swing right back. And it was like the Yankees had to press to keep it going. And it was just who's going to crack first. Dodgers did that. And then it was like, you could feel it. You could feel it.
I just got this text. We don't get to blank on Dave Roberts ever again. Managed bleeping 3-week masterpiece, and couldn't agree more with any of it. All-time stuff from Dave Roberts. My desk is scattered. This 5 spot is for all you who got me through another season. Woo, let's go Dodgers. Let's freaking go. Godfrey, let's effing go. I'm shaking. Can I say something? This is going to sound weird. I actually was most emotional at the thought in the 8th inning when Walker Buehler, when I knew he was coming in. That was the most emotional moment for me. It wasn't actually when they won.
That's so weird, dude. Same.
100%. When I was like, it's Walker freaking Buehler, I sent the tweet. I was like, putting the phone down. I'm in. Whatever the hell happens, I am freaking in on this guy in this moment. I told my wife, I said the literal best way this could possibly end is, yes, obviously the Dodgers winning the World Series. But if freaking Walker Buehler shuts this door, all time stuff.
That's so funny you said that, because I felt the same way, man. Like, I couldn't stop smiling when he struck out Verdugo, and and I could feel my chest was tight. But you're right, dude. I think I was fighting back the tears when I knew he was going to get the ball.
Yeah. In 2020, I'd say in 2020, I wanted a World Series more for Clayton Kershaw than I wanted it for myself. Like, it didn't matter. Like, my goal was I wanted Kershaw to be vindicated with a 2020 World Series. And I didn't feel quite as strong about Walker Buehler because the road hasn't been quite as long as the Kershaw road. But there was a part of me that was like, man, for this guy, because here's the other thing. I'm just going to say this about Buehler. Like, this dude freaking laid it on the line for the Dodgers. The reason he had a second Tommy John surgery is because this guy never said no to the ball. Like, screw you, Max Scherzer, whining about not being available. You're too sore, whatever. Walker Buehler never said it. And yes, he had to pay for it. He had to get Tommy John. And you know what it cost him? He almost never signed a free agent contract. Like, if this season goes sideways and it's a 7.5 ERA and he gets DFA'd or whatever, he cost himself tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars by saying yes to the ball whenever the Dodgers needed it. And guess what?
Himself $200 million.
100%. And he kept saying yes, and he kept doing it, and he fought back. And guess what? Tonight, you know what Walker Buehler wasn't worried about tonight? How the hell his elbow is going to feel tomorrow? He said, give me the damn ball. We're closing this thing out. And it's all-time stuff. Like, that's why this guy deserves it. Freddie Freeman deserves it because he never stops playing, and he grinds it out, and he goes through the worst stuff, and he keeps playing, and he keeps showing up every single day and toughing it out. Walker Buehler deserves it because he literally laid it all. Like, I'm joking about, like, glass now money for Walker Buehler, but if they just gave him $100 million, like, hell yeah. I don't do it. Like, that guy, they owe him. They owe him what he did. He deserved this moment. All-time stuff. We got another $100 super chat here from Trust Genius Worldwide. His second. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it's the same one as earlier. Apologies if it was. But anyways, unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. Che says this one feels better than 81, 88, and 2020. Wow. I'll say this. Wasn't alive for 81 and 88. 2020, everybody can say whatever the hell they want. That one's forever my number one because it was the first, because of 2017 losing in the World Series, 2018 losing in the World Series, not making it back in 2019. 2020 is forever number one for me. Obviously, we're now at 2, but like,
I'll say
this is for me. For me, it's 2020 in this, and it's like picking between children. I love them both.
Absolutely. This is my 2020 hat.
You and me both.
Me, 2020 was such a weird year, and it was short, and it, counts. Let's stop all that BS, right?
Yeah.
But I think the no fans thing, and it was just like, I got emotional there. I mean, I got that. I want to say that ended on a day where for some reason I didn't work the next day. I don't know. Maybe I took the day off thinking they would win. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but I remember I drank my face off after that and was just like so happy, right? But this one, to me, it does feel different. I think like that year we didn't even know what the season was going to look like in March.
Yeah.
When the guys got sent home. And so like this one, like I remember I was at my niece's Christmas, music recital at a little school assembly hall when the Shohei news came out, when Jeff Passan broke Shohei and Shohei put up the Dodger logo on Instagram. I remember where I was sitting. I remember me, my dad, and my brother, who was my brother's kid, stopped listening to whatever the music they were singing and started talking Shohei. I remember where they were when they signed Teo, when they got Glass now. I remember like that whole winter leading into this season was like just it was a drama that was made for us. And then spring training, and then the way they started the season, the way Mookie started, the way Otani started, and it was like, man, one of these guys better cool down because they're going to split MVP votes. And you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was that, and then the lull in the middle of the season, and then all the pitching, all the hurt in September. Like you went through the entire gamut of emotions with this club. 2 elimination games against the Padres.
Yeah.
Right. Like thinking, we got this against the Mets, and they get bombed in game 2.
Yeah. Well, in the game five, then you got to come home and win the Mets series. It's
right.
It's over and over.
Battle tested.
And then it goes, by the way, you're going to play the Yankees.
Yeah.
And it's just, for me,
smacked them.
All of that from that December moment with Shohei to tonight when Verdugo swung through that ball, all of that is combined into what I was feeling when that happened. So for me, 2020 was fantastic. It was the first one in so long, and the one that we had been waiting for. This one, though, for me, hit different.
Scott, how do those two compare in your mind?
2020, a lot of it, they mean things to different people.
Yeah, in different ways.
Absolutely.
2020 was its own season of life.
That's why like the first thing I say when I talk about why I love this team is I say it's just individual to me. I know I have people reasons that for 2017, the core with that unit, and I totally understand it. Flat out, I can never take that away, and how people get connected to one team or another. But for me, it was understanding what we've seen, in the past few years with the Dodgers, how we know they play at their best. We've seen this team when it looks like their offense cannot be stopped. They win, record number of games, and it looks like all the stars align, right? And all facets of the game, the Dodgers, we know how they can operate best, and President of Baseball Operations, Andrew Friedman, can set them up. With this year going into it, Otani news for sure, all the weight on that. They start in Korea, go through that. Early parts of the year, arms start to go down. Young prospects coming up, you say, we've got enough. And then they head into the deadline. I'm just saying it's the peaks and the valleys they've had. And just looking at who they've acquired, fit the mold. They found the identity, Jeff. Like they went into the Padres stuff, and we brought it up in chat about how it was getting the boogeyman off their back. I got to see it. I believe they can win a World Series, but I've got to see them make it through the first round. And we all knew that we all said the Padres are the best team they were going to face. And they took them down. They set basically a record, rattled them off, shut them out for over 2 games straight. So it's just the moments that this team has had as a collective unit. You talk about Mookie Betts might not have had his one big thing, but it was the collection. It was the job they did. And you look at a box score like tonight, they win a ball game like that. You tell me any other team has that type of thing, they lose that game.
Well, and you said it's a collective team. How about this? The Dodgers just put out their World Series graphic. There's 39 faces on it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like there's 39 faces on it. And I bet there were a couple guys who were going to feel like they should have been on it. Crazy stuff. Also shout out to Blake Williams, who's currently getting doused with beer. Hopefully opening up his mouth a little bit and getting to taste some. A little Coors Light never hurt anybody, but shout out to Blake. We're going to have great content there. Let's run through some of these super chats. Laura, all-timer, congratulations to our World Series MVP, Freddy Freeman.
Yeah.
Parade on Monday, by the way, for those wondering.
It's on Monday?
Parade on Monday.
Friday.
Is it Friday?
It's Friday. If they had to go back to LA,
okay, then
it would have been Monday.
Good catch. I thought you're right. There were two options, but Friday is yeah. Okay. Paulo, a huevo cabrones, rock with y'all since 2020. Chip, looking forward to more stressful moments together. I said after 2020 that I would never stress out nearly as much again. Like, it was like Monkey was off the bat. They won it. I was a wreck. So, Big Bob, we are the champions, my friends. Freddie, Butane, Mookie, let's go Dodger fans. Stand the F up and celebrate. Thank you, boys, for holding it down all season. 2024 World Series champs. Uncle Zorback, y'all need to get Daniel on the show. Brings me back to 2020 when I started watching Dodger Blue with him and Jeff. World Series champs, baby. Daniel, I believe, is covering the Lakers, maybe? Did the Lakers? They already lost, right? They got their butts kicked?
Yeah, they had a terrible showing in Cleveland.
All right, I'm going to text Daniel to hop in. Blake just said Shohei Otani drenched him in the locker room, by the way, for those wondering.
That's so sick.
So
that's Blake's moment.
I got caught. So good thing. Shout out to Blake. Gabriel, Dodgers, Buehler. Enough said. Robbie says, love you guys. Thanks for all your hard work this year. #1 Dodgers podcast. We appreciate it. Look, I speak for myself, for Scott, for Anthony, for Matt, for Daniel, for Blake. We're fortunate to get to do what we do. We love that we get to do this. And the reason we get to do it is because of people like you, because of 46 super chats on a night like tonight. And we could go live at just about any moment, and there'd be 12 to 1,500 people that would hop in with us.
No doubt.
We topped out NLDS Game 5, I believe, is the biggest we ever had. 6,200 people in here. And to the people talking about 2020, I remember the days sitting at my dining room table in May of 2020 with like 17 people watching. And then the playoffs came and it was like, holy crap, 220 people watched us live on this one. We were doing pregame. Daniel and I were doing double shows, pregame, postgame, every single game. To have grown to where we are, to have the team that we have, and the quality of content. I've told both of these guys, it's through the roof. So thank you all for supporting us, for letting us bring in the right people like Scott, like Anthony, like Blake, who have all been added since 2020, but also just to support us and allow us to continue to do what we get to do.
I'm 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's true.
There you go.
Daniel and I were 1 for 1 for a year as well, Anthony. So congratulations. Yeah, and that's the other fun piece. Daniel, Matt, and I were here for 2020. Scott and Blake and Anthony getting to enjoy 2024 for the first time. And shout out to the Dodgers. Selfishly, I was going to be gone on Friday. I'm out of here. I'm off the grid. Friday, Saturday, Sunday was going to be watching a tape delayed Game 6 and 7. This is selfish. Okay, I go off the grid for games 3 and 4 of the Padres, the NLDS, and they keep
I held the fort down, Jeff. You guys know I held
probably a good time. It was probably a good time. They held the fort down so that they could win in 5 while I got back. They win it in 5 this time so that I don't have to miss 6 and 7. Selfishly, I'm happy. BMR World Series champs, Walker and Buehler.
Before you go, and like I just, it came to me real quick, chat, like the Thursday shows that Blake and I did, and we kind of dubbed it like Dodgers therapy, like all the low points and the times when people just wanted to rave and rant about the stuff that was just going horribly wrong or the things that we hated. Like, that's why, like, we went all through the mud. Like, just talking out, and Blake and I just saying, just be patient, guys. And Blake and I usually will be pretty critical about stuff, and and it was just saying, just be patient, you guys. Like, this is the unit that they've got it. And I know that's just like, some of it's like saying you never know how much it's going to work out. It worked out. Absolutely. So we're going to take that one. That's another feather in why this season for me and this team is the one.
Yeah. Amen. Daniel asking for the link, so hopefully he'll be hopping in here in a sec. BMR World Series champs, Walker and Buehler, Roberts Hall of Fame. Shelly, been with us. We appreciate it. Man. What a game. I love this team. Daniel, all you Dodger doomers and fake fans, shut the hell up. Baseball gods are real. Vin and Fernando up in blue heaven writing the script this whole time. Thanks for a great season.
Cool.
Go for it.
So right when I got, we got the news that Fernando had passed, I have a pin that I got from a friend that was really special to me about Fernando. And I've been keeping that with me the entire World Series. When I'm in at work, when I've been around, I've been keeping it in my pocket the entire time. That's awesome. And I'm it's just been a cool thing. So that was, glad he brought up Fernando right there.
Friday, the Friday parade, Fernie's birthday.
Yeah, that's right. That's even better. Yeah, forget Game 6. Let's throw a freaking parade for his birthday, which is rightfully so. Godfrey says, thank you, guys. Skimmer, thank you, Dodger Blue, from Seoul to New York. Great effing season. World champs. #relentless. #so sweet. Speaking of relentless, speaking of no mullet though, but he's there. Daniel, we are just reliving the glory days of 2020, and they said, hey, they've been with us since the Jeff and Daniel days of 2020. We had to run it back a little bit.
Baby.
First of all, I want to know. I know that the Lakers lost. Did the Dodgers win make up for the Lakers loss tonight a little bit?
The Lakers had a game tonight?
Not a game. No game. There he goes. Let's go.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is the same exact feeling as 2020. I remember it like it was yesterday, and obviously we've been longing for it ever since. So congrats to everyone in the chat. Congrats to all you guys. Like, we've been grinding, doing these streams every night. You guys more than me. I've tried to help out when I can, but it's been a hell of a ride, and it's crazy that it ended in this way, but it's also pretty perfect considering, you know, kind of everything this team had been through. So yeah, congrats, guys.
Yeah. Daniel, give me, like, just as you're watching this game, we talked about Buehler, and which I know you'll appreciate. I talked about all he sacrificed for this organization, the fact that he got to enjoy it. Mookie, who got crushed, he ends up leading the team in on-base percentage and slugging percentage for the entire postseason. Obviously, Freddy, the season that he's been through to get 4 home runs. Blake Trinan, 7 outs from out of nowhere, seemingly. Yep. I mean, what do you think as you think about tonight at this moment? What stands out to you? What's the moment that's going to stick with you?
I mean, it's really all of that. I think the moment for me is Walker Buehler on the mound in that 9th inning. Just everything he's been through, and kind of there's so much talk about the pitching plan the last couple days, and it got to the point where they literally had no one left other than the guy with the biggest balls on the whole team, and he came in and just shut him down to close it out. You know, that was epic. All the guys you named, like everyone on the roster, you know, everyone had their moment. It felt like, you know, throughout the course of this postseason run, similar to that 2020. Like, you have, you know, the guys who carry you, like that year was Seager, it was Freddy in the World Series this time. Yeah. And then you have everyone else, even if their overall numbers don't look great, like everyone had a moment at least. And of course we know how, you know, shorthanded the pitching staff was. So they needed guys to step up, whether that be in a lopsided game when you got, you know, Landon Knack giving them 4 good innings, you know, yesterday. Brent Honeywell did that a couple times. Or tonight,
Brent Honeywell gave him 4 innings in 1 inning, but it was appreciated, you know.
Yes. And then so that sets it up for tonight, where, you know, they were able to, you know, Jack didn't have it, and they're able to go to the pen in the 2nd inning and keep the Yankees at 5 runs, or, you know, whatever, 4 runs, whatever it was at the time, to allow the offense to get back in the game. And of course, they got some help from, you know, the Yankees, not exactly fundamental baseball by them. And you're in the World Series, you got to be able to make routine plays. So, you know, that came back to bite them. But yeah, everyone had their moment, and it was just a really fun group. Like, we haven't seen this special of a group maybe ever, you know, definitely, you know, in a while.
If you haven't seen it yet, by the way, because it was a blur when the Dodgers won, Walker Buehler strikes him out. I just saw the picture on social media. If you haven't seen Walker Buehler's reaction, arms out, just staring at the dugout, basically.
Well, that's the gladiator. Are you not entertained right there?
I was rooting for double birds to all of New York, and just maybe a suck it sign or something from Walker Buehler. But we'll take this incredible video. I mean, I'm going to have to get a picture. Claudia, who's done a lot of the artwork behind me, I need one of Walker Buehler's scream face right in the middle of the celebration with heads all around. That's going to be at the top of my wish list for sure. But man, unbelievable stuff from
it's fitting that he strikes out Verdugo to end it too. Like, who even this morning was still talking out of, you know, his, you know what, like with some of the stuff he was saying. Like, come on, everything was just too perfect, honestly. Like, it was as nervous as I'd ever been, honestly. Like, we get nervous for all these games, but tonight was on another level. And
I was that guy's like biggest, like, you know, had a ton of hope for him to be a superstar. He's a Mexican guy, and, you know, Dodger and all of that stuff, right? That hits different in LA.
Yeah.
And he just becomes such an ass. And I hope
are you ready to give that one up, Anthony?
I think he did way long time ago.
Yeah, so that's way back. Way back. I hope I never have to think about that guy again.
Yeah,
just yapping, man. Just always yapping for no reason. Just
no,
yapping.
Come on. Him pimping the 2-run home run in the 9th inning down 4 was an all-time moment. I'm here for it. These are the things some people criticize. I love it. Charlie says, "Let's go." No one can say anything about the 2020 season.
Nothing
Kevin
now.
says, I was here in 2020. Now in 2024, we are the champions. Dodgers love a $10 super chat. We appreciate you.
Shout out to you, Cody.
Says, drive safe, y'all. LA is popping right now. It's gonna be a party. Would you say the parade's Friday? It's Wednesday night.
I'm going. I'll be there.
There's a lot of people calling in sick the next couple of days. It is going to be a 72-hour bender for the folks
long
in Los
weekend.
Angeles. Yeah. Charlie says, when do we know about the parade? Again, Friday is the expectation.
More the LAPD and the Dodgers sent something out that said it is going to be Friday. It's going to be down Figueroa. More details are going to come.
There's going to be
I'll be there, buddy.
5 million people at this parade.
I got to
You going,
find a way to
Scotty
get
G?
my daughter there.
You going?
Yeah.
My daughter wants to go. She called me up. That was my best thing. Can I say something? In 2020, I was with my daughter during that, and I picked her up and spun her in the air. Tonight, she gives me a call right away. She's screaming. That's the stuff I remember. So till I croak, till I'm old and gray, I'm going to think about that stuff.
Yeah. No, my girls, my oldest two, I said, I'm going to come get you if they win the World Series. They, of course, refused to go to sleep and kept coming down every 5 minutes. I'm like, I will die. If you're sitting here trying to watch these 3 Walker Buehler outs with me, I will die. Like, go upstairs. I will get you. I promise. I run upstairs. My 4-year-old absolutely passed out unconscious. My wife looks at me. She goes, don't you dare wake her up. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm waking her up. We just won the freaking 2024 World Series. It's an all-time moment. She can sleep later.
Yeah.
Like, all time. She's like looking, has no idea, goes right back
Father
to
of
bed.
the year, Jeff.
Yeah,
Father
that's
of
what
the
I'm
year,
saying.
buddy.
From your lips to my wife's ears, Anthony. Tell her.
I have a
real quick.
2-year-old. I have a 2-year-old, and so there that was not a debate that was happening in my household. She was going down.
Fair.
But her 3T, because she's a tall one, her 3T Mookie Betts jersey hangs on the mantle underneath the TV. Has been there for 3 games, I believe. So that jersey being there is 2-1. I'm not sure it's going to move for
Let's
a
go,
very
man.
long. It's going to be there through Christmas.
Yeah.
Daughter
That's
wore one
great.
to school today. It was school. It was Jersey Day. She wore a Dodgers jersey today. Man,
Yeah.
this is the cool stuff.
Oh, you better believe my Halloween costume tomorrow is my 2020 gold lettered Mookie Betts Dodgers jersey and just about everything that we can find up here. It is going to be all-time stuff. My guy Peyton Spear, World Series champs, just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for getting us through the season. Unbelievable coverage and work. Go Dodgers. Dodgers love a Bob, my Dodgers, my Scott Buehler is ham champions. F the Yankees. Like,
Let's
shout
go,
out
baby.
to all of you. 4,000 people
Scott,
in
our
here.
Scott, baby.
Let's go,
exactly.
baby.
Exactly. Hey,
go.
it's been a ride. It's been
What
a
a
ride.
year,
It's
man.
been a roller coaster. There's been high moments. There's been low moments. There's been giving up on players, buying back
Shout
in
out
on
to
players.
Mickey V, man. Shout out to Miguel Vargas.
Yeah, give the man a ring.
He gets a ring. Taylor
Yes, sir.
Trammell getting a ring.
Yeah.
I will say, I've shared this before. I know that I've got people that know people in the Yency Almonte world. Like, guys like that, it's just heartbreaking. It's just
He was
heartbreaking.
I don't know if you saw, he tweeted
Yeah.
after the game, like, congrats to all my dogs. So he's still
Yeah.
close with a lot
He's
of
like
them.
best friends with Mookie Betts. That's one of his guys. But it's just
Yeah.
like, those are the dudes where you're like, man, to have grinded it out the last few years and then to get sent to the Cubs. I mean, it is what it is. And he's a Major League Baseball player, but it makes you appreciate it for the guys that are here, even if it's like the James Outmans of the world who are going to get a ring as minor leaguers or whatever. Cause it's like, it's just tough stuff. Laura, in a year that was impossible, the improbable has happened. Vince Scully, shout it out. Vince Scully's the legend. I wore the shirt in honor of RIP. Peyton thought this was going back to LA for game 6 at first, but when Doc put Buehler in for the 9th, I thought, are we winning this tonight? I stopped thinking, are we winning this tonight when he put Walker Buehler in? I knew we were winning it. As soon
I had
as
no
we
doubt.
got,
Did you guys have any doubt? I had no doubt. Right when he was warming up,
No.
I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's we talk about the fan and the analysts coming in all the time, and I was just like, Buehler comes into this game like
7, 8, 9.
he's-
Once he got Volpe out, I had no fears.
he's
Honestly,
Volpe was the last
his,
guy.
his first pitch, he kind of pulled it a little bit. I think it was like 97. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, like, he's definitely amped up enough. Like, can he dial it back? And the second pitch was, I think, 96, like down and away, right on the black. And I was like, oh, this is
Dirty.
over.
That
Once
might have
he
been the
had
only
to
good
feel for the
fastball
knuckle
he threw.
curve.
Let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Daniel. Let me ask you this. Would you rather have him struck Verdugo out with the nasty curveball that he did or 97 at the top of the zone?
I
there's
really
something
don't care.
poetic.
Like,
There's
it was
something
great,
poetic
but
about the curveball. As much as I wanted fastball, there's
No.
something poetic about 2024 Buehler ending it like that.
That's the new Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
Yes.
While that's fair, there's nothing like a nice top of the
Nice
zone fastball,
punch.
like swings right under it. There's nothing like that. But
Because
also,
you look more
he threw
foolish
10.
that way. You look
Yeah.
foolish.
Yeah,
He
it
threw
was
10
crazy.
knuckle curves. He came in and threw 10 of them.
And he didn't miss. Like he didn't miss
Like,
with a single one of them. He
Once
couldn't
I
locate his
saw that-
fastball for crap.
Like Jeff,
But-
once I saw he had the knuckle curve, I was like, okay, all right, he's feeling this. Like
I will say this: I was more nervous. I wasn't nervous about Buehler, but when that ground ball got hit to Max Muncy, that's
Yeah.
when I did start getting a little nervous.
Hey, shout out. I'm with you, first of all, because just in those moments, I'm like, what could possibly go wrong? Everything. I mean, those are the little things. Like every one of those things went wrong, it felt like, for the Yankees. The Dodgers, you know,
Bro,
say
for
what
the
you
last
want
week,
about some of these
every
guys.
routine ground ball made me nervous. Every
Yeah.
hit right at guys.
Yeah.
Everyone made me nervous.
But I mean, and
the
again,
extra hop step made me
Muncy,
nervous.
Lux, like both of those guys made some plays tonight where it's like, yes, routine to slightly above routine, but no doubts, no doubt.
Like
So,
that play
except
too,
for
where
Kike.
I think it was Trinan who had to go cover
Yeah.
first and just beat.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, that was-
man.
Perfect throw
that's
from
not
Freddy.
what Garrett Cole did.
oh my
Shout out to Garrett
Whoa.
Cole,
No.
man.
That's the difference right there, honestly.
First
Like,
base, Anthony, you got that thing? I'm gonna let him run to the bag by
That
himself.
was crazy when he just
Wow.
pointed at the base. It's like, what the hell? My wife's like, she's like,
Wow.
oh man, the first baseman brain fart. I'm like, no, the pitcher. Like the 100% that's on the pitcher. 100,000%.
Rizzo's like,
Yeah,
"But
yeah.
what the hell, dude?"
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Duncan Spear, thank you, boys, for everything. You got us through a lot of stress. Hey, we appreciate
right.
it. You all got
Over
us
here.
through a lot of stress. The feeling is mutual. I can assure you of that. John, great show as always, guys. 2020 haters. His mouth zipped up. Go blue. Trinan mentioned it in his post-game comments if you saw it. He's like, people can talk, but basically, I'm just happy for the guys that are still here.
Yeah,
Robert with the super chat. Thank you. MMA. Butane never pays for tacos in LA again. Doc, Hall of Fame manager, said he wants a parade. I'm there, boss.
Right.
It has to be Buehler. Like Buehler's minus 200 on this question. Daniel, I'll come to you first. Which Dodgers most wasted on Friday night? It has to on Friday. It has to be Buehler, right? There's no doubts.
Yeah, I might need a second to think about that, but Buehler jumps out.
I
Kike
think
will
Kike,
probably
man.
But yeah, Kike, fair.
Kike's a good one. Yeah.
Vesia feels like a sneaky.
That's
Vesia
true.
feels like he could probably get lit up a little bit.
Kiermaier's
well,
been
we
just living it up this whole
Yeah,
time.
Kiermaier reports from the clubhouse where the Kiermaier went the hardest after the NLCS celebration. So that's a good guess. That's a good guess.
Yes,
Kike's a great
Kiermaier,
call.
yeah. I'll tell you about Kike. When we were at the Blue Diamond Gala, Kike was walking around with a Coke cup and interviews, and I was like, "Oh, Kike, Kike, you're a dog, man."
Yeah. Yeah.
There's going to be more than one guy.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
most wasted. Because was it Buehler was the guy that he was like drunk tweeting, right? At one point. What was the story? I'm blanking on that.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it 2020?
It was like I opened twist offs with my
Oh,
teeth,
yeah,
like
that's what
because
it was.
it's fun or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All time stuff. Ivan Sands, only one team has a Mickey Mouse ring and a real ring. You're Los Angeles Dodgers. You guys are awesome, by the way. Let's go.
Let's go,
CT3
baby.
extension for 199. Hey, you know what? I'm giving it. I'll hand out money to whoever. Shout out to CT3. Duff time for Dodger Heads to update the intro video. You're damn right about that. Man.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Freddie raising the sword in the air is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, the only question is what's the last thing you see? Is it Walker Buehler like
Yes,
this to the dugout,
gotta be.
or is it Freddie Freeman like this? You're
I
going
think it's gotta
Buehler,
be
Scotty?
Buehler.
I want
Yeah.
Buehler, man. I want
Yeah.
Buehler. I want that.
I'm with you. Is this the beginnings of a dynasty? I mean, look, I'll say this: dynasties in baseball are really complicated things. It's hard to get back. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
There's a few things to say. 4 World Series. Is it four World Series in 9 years? Is that the number? Something. 8 years
9, 10, 1, 2, 3. 8 years.
For who?
for the
Doing my
Dodgers.
math.
They've been
The
to
Dodgers
4
have
World.
been to
I'm
four-
saying they've been in 4 World
Oh,
Series in 8
gotcha.
years. They've now won 2 World Series in the last 5. That's not dynasty stuff, but that's not nothing.
But I'll say this: baseball dynasties have to be measured differently than NBA or NFL dynasties because it's not the same game. Like the baseball postseason is not built for the best teams to win all the time. And I got onto a little bit of a rant on Twitter today discussing like what happened yesterday in the game, how today was playing out, and like the dichotomy between how that works over the course of a longer term versus a sprint, which is what these series are. So I think a baseball dynasty has to be measured a little differently. So let's say, like in the NBA, if you win 3 in 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, that's a dynasty.
Yeah.
In baseball, I think that has to that spreads a little more. So if you win, let's say you win 3 in like a decade, like in a from 2020 to 2029, you win 3, 4, right around like something like that. I think you can be considered that, as long as like there's no big dips in there.
Yeah. Daniel, you got to run here in just a second. Give us your last thoughts.
First of all, just add on to what Anthony was saying. This is like, as hard as it is, this was I tweeted this too. This was kind of the year to get the Dodgers, just because of their overall, the state of their starting pitching. Like, with all the guys they got coming back and the ability to spend more money, like I would expect an even better team next year and moving into the years to come. So hopefully this is a start of a great run, but for now we could enjoy this one and worry about the rest later. But yeah, I gotta run, but love you guys and congrats again to everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Daniel. We got lots of content still to come in the days to come. So we appreciate you, Daniel.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
All right, let's get to some of these super chats here. We got some more people that I think are going to be hopping in. CT3's extension, best sound in sports, a quiet Yankees stadium. No disagreements there. Mark, my bleepin' family's roots are from Chavez Ravine, and I love the Dodgers. Bleep O'Malley and City, but I love my Dodgers. Ordered my t-shirt already. Look, thoughts and prayers to my bank account, because when Nike stuff drops, I know I Homage, who has supported us in the past, we're going to be doing some stuff with them in the coming weeks. They've got to wait. MLB has like a licensing deal where if you're not like Nike, you can't release anything. I think it's for like 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks or something like that. So stay tuned. There's going to be some things to spend some money on. I can assure you of that.
Nike came out with already a great ad.
It's beautiful.
An end of the season ad. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Nike, tweeted it out. But just it's great. It's like an ending credits, and it says the end and the D in end.
Beautiful.
Dodger D.
Yeah, I love it. Well, shout out to Portland, Oregon. Nike. Might need to find my way into the employee store up here and start purchasing some things. Let's get a couple more of these super chats here. Pep talk. I became a Dodgers fan when they signed Otani. Used to be a Jays fan. Jays ran their team like garbage. Man, that's brutal. Otani fan who was a Jays fan. That's a double whammy. I hope this run teaches management a lesson. We appreciate you, Pep talk. Welcome in. Hawaiian Kira said, it's been World Series or bust since 2023 for me. Had to be at the stadium that day, so I went on a tour. LOL. What a season. Thank you, Dodger Blue, for being there virtually to connect us all. Robert says, so freaking happy, calling in sick to work tomorrow. I love it. Saki Bomb, thanks for the year, guys. Let's go Dodgers. Shout out to my guy, Scott Newhouse, $30 super chat. Appreciate you, Scott. Go Blue. Great work all years, guys. What was your favorite moment of the postseason? Freeman grand slam, final out, Otani 3-run homer in Padres game 1. All good options. Our guy, Sebastian Ibarra, by the way, hopping in. Scott, I'll let you go first. We talked about from an intro video perspective, but what was your favorite moment of this postseason, Scott?
Wow. I would say the moment for me. What's up, Sebastian, by the way? Congrats, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Me too.
I would say, just because of everything that Freddy Freeman's been through, I think it's just got to be the grand slam. I know there's so many other things, like pitching performance wise. Like, it's always great to see Yamamoto have the bounce back in the clincher and the NLDS. Like, for me, that was just a performance where he got his first taste and a first taste of big success in the postseason. And that stuff I'll remember, knowing that he's going to be around for a while. But considering everything Freddy Freeman's been through in his, in his life, family stuff outside of the game, on the field at this point in his career, to have this type of moment, to etch himself into Dodgers history, postseason history, baseball history forever. And now it's Kirk Gibson, that moment will live on forever. But It was like, now Dodgers fans of this generation have that moment where it was Freddie Freeman's grand slam, where that's going to be the thing replayed forever. That's going to be the thing until there is one more. That for me, it solidifies it. So that's my moment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was up on top of the back of my couch, jumping and smashing my ceiling. Anthony and I did the postgame show that night, and we said the exact same thing. This is Kirk Gibson for the people my age and under basically. Sebastian, I'll come to you next. Favorite moment of this postseason? Is it Freddie Freeman's home run, or is there something? I mean, let's Freddie Freeman's home run. If you have a second one, go for it.
Yeah, I was just on Fred. I think Freddie has to be it. I'll say it's wild. It was my dad's birthday, and we're all having a little gathered watch party. And legit, I think it's the happiest I've ever seen him. I watch games with him. I watch baseball games, football games with him all the time.
That's awesome.
I've seen him go to my own games when I was a kid and in high school. And legit, when he hit, like, as soon
It
as
sounds
he hit
bad. I
everyone in
can't
the
blame him. I'm gonna be honest, Sebastian. He's like, he's never been happy at my sporting events. I'm like, you know what? I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yeah, but everyone in the house knew right away, and he was just yelling at the TV. I'm right there next to him. We're hugging and jumping around. So that's always going to be kind of a core memory, I guess. For me, it was this game. Like when he got to 2 outs in the fifth, I was like, they can't let this opportunity go away. They're giving you the game here. And I was like, they got 2 runs. I'm like, okay, that's good. Or 3 runs. I was like, okay, that's good. It gets us in the game. But as soon as Teoscar hit, cleared the bases, I think, right? Clear the bases.
Yeah. First and third.
Like, okay, now it's real. Now it's real. Now they got a shot here. And so, yeah, I think that was kind of my favorite, second favorite, and then kind of from this game, obviously.
Yeah, Anthony, I love that he mentioned that Otani home run in the NLDS game 1, because that did feel like, you go down 3-0 and then immediately respond in the bottom of that inning with the Otani home run. Obviously, it doesn't end up like it's game 1 of the NLDS. They win the World Series, but I think those are the moments that are a great pull. Is there another great moment for you, Anthony, that we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I would say those are my top 2. I think obviously Freddie, that is going to be a mural throughout LA. They're probably going to put that picture, 50 feet high in the stadium somewhere. I thought the Otani thing was like, bro, you're a Dodger right there. The celebration, the show of emotion from him there, I think defined this season for him. He wasn't great in the World Series, but who knows where they end up if he doesn't get that hit.
Yeah.
This whole run could be completely different if that doesn't happen. So beyond that, then I would say, I think the starts, especially the one in the World Series by Yamamoto.
Yeah.
He came in because I think the thought here from everyone who was not a Dodger fan or in that organization was like, they overpaid for this rookie just because they're trying to buy a championship. Like, he's not even that good. And not fully understanding who this guy was and the types of games and big moments that he had already pitched in as young as he was. And then he came in, he was excellent after Korea. The start at Yankee Stadium in the regular season, and then he gets hurt, right? And he comes back, and it's a struggle, and you're not exactly sure what to expect from him. And he gives you, I think it was 3 just big level starts. And at times when this team needed them. And for me, I think he's not going to win Rookie of the Year, but like, he's got a case for being the best rookie in 2024.
Yeah.
And I think this run in the postseason sort of solidified that.
How about this? Buehler kind of referenced this when they asked him, hey, and he's like, I didn't pick up a ball all day. The story about Walker Buehler just was relayed to me. Buehler told Dave and the general manager this morning that he'd be ready. Dave Roberts said, thanks, but no thanks. 7th inning, Walker Buehler puts his jacket on, heads out to the bullpen and says, Dave, I'm ready if you need me. So, I mean,
and just walked out there. Awesome.
It's Kershaw stuff. It's legendary stuff. It's just like,
had to go to him.
Guys. Those are the guys we want on our team, Scott.
You had to go. We started talking about the same stuff against in the NLCS, where it's like they're going to run out of pitchers. We were talking about this. They're going to run out of pitchers, and it was the same thing with tonight. Like if people had an issue with game 4 and like having enough guys or who is going to go, it was tonight when it's saying it's all on the leverage dudes. All of them are available, right? And we're talking about in the 6th inning, who's going to be left? How are you going to get through this?
Yeah.
I was texting my buddies and saying that, they're going to try to stretch Trinan as far as he can go.
Because Bessie and Gratterall were supposed to be stretch guys, and neither of them could get more than 2 outs.
we talked about it. It was like Vesia can give you a solid inning. And then it was immediately when he starts, you see him go against like that one batter, you'll just see the stuff just go completely gone. Like he just loses that command. Like he can be nails for 3, and then at that 4th might be the one where you're talking. And then, we had that conversation early on in the game. Who's going to be left? And then it started to get real. Like, but with Walker Buehler, he's turned into a different animal. Like that fastball is, competitive because of the secondary stuff. And it's just, Jeff, what we talked about and in our dialogue with Walker Buehler this year in the chat, the same thing, the realization, the conversations, the post games with Walker Buehler, and how, transparent and open he is with his struggles and the maturation of him this year. And he comes out tonight and he drops 10 knuckle curves of his pitch mix with 4 four-seamers, throws a beautiful cutter to Alex Verdugo, which I thought was the pitch of the at-bat. Maybe of his entire outing. And just, that full circle thing for him.
Yeah, and it was vindication, because the thing that anybody who defended Walker Buehler, the one thing that we planted our flag on was the want to and the heart and the big moment stuff. Like that, it was just like, hey, I know this may not make logical sense. I know what the stats are on 2 Tommy Johns. I know all that, but it was just like, I'm just never going to bet against that guy to fail. And there were some rough moments. Anthony and I had some shows on here where it was like, good Lord, that was rough. Like, is this really going to make it? I got some tweets where it's like, man, I don't think this is it.
What was the start, Jeff? Jeff, which was the one where he had his bad one, where we were sitting on here post game and we felt for him? That
was like one of the roughest press conferences post game quotes, where it was just like, yeah, it sucks to suck, basically, was the gist of it. And that guy went and he figured it out, and he got in the lab and he humbled himself and said, what do you need me to do? And they said, no more 4-seamers. And then, hilariously enough, he finds the 4-seamer in the World Series and then closes it out with all World Series, with all curveballs. So great stuff. We got a bunch of super chats. I'm only here for a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to hand the reins off to Scott to host. But let's get through some of these. Stockton says, how worried were you guys when this was headed to 6? I joked. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm Mr. Optimism, storybook stuff. Don't worry. I was 25% believing my own stuff. Look, you're down 5-0 and Garrett Cole is looking like Garrett Cole. It's tough. But when they came back, I mean, my buddy texted me. He goes, dude, you said if you can get to the bullpen within a run, we're going to win. And that's how I felt. It was like, but I didn't think we were going to get there, because I didn't think we were going to get 3 errors and 5 runs off of Cole. So, but once we got to late inning stuff, I was feeling pretty good. Tiaguino, sorry, we are champions, baby. Salute from Brazil. Shout out to Brazil joining us. I love seeing all the different currencies. I have no idea how much any of these things are, but we appreciate you. Okay. It all comes in as cold, hard US cash, I think, to somebody's bank account. None of ours, but somebody's. Peyton says the old empire toppled by the new empire. I don't know if they're the old empire. They're the really old empire. They're our grandparents' empire, I think. Stockton slap. Man, we're already going there. Don't re-sign Flaherty. Too inconsistent. Look, positive vibes only, Stockton. We appreciate the super chat. It was rough tonight for Flaherty. If we were headed to game 6, Anthony and I had some Jack Flaherty thoughts queued up, but those got crumpled up and thrown in the garbage can.
Yep.
No more FOMO.
The story was deleted.
No more FOMO. $50 super chat. Long-time listener. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. 2020 walked so 2024 could run. Good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff. Stockton says Tommy, Vinny, Fernando looking down, smiling. Absolutely. Carolina, currently spending all my money on World Series champions gear. Thank you guys for holding it down all season long. The best post-game show, hands down. Love you guys. I did get a text that Nike just dropped World Series jerseys. They're only $415, guys. That's it. That's all you got to spend to get a World Series jersey. So there you go. Laura said Walker told Vasse winning means everything. At one point thought he was going to be released. Wow. What an absolute all-time come around moment for our guy Walker Buehler. Marco says none of the Yankees channels are on right now, guys. John Boy, I can't wait for the John Boy clip of because they were there. Dang it. There was no live watch because they were all at the game. Sad news.
Clown show.
Christopher says 2024 Dodgers, my favorite Dodgers team of all time. I can watch highlights of this team the rest of my life without any sad thought they didn't go all the way. This memory will be joy forever. Sebastian, we were kind of talking about this on the front end, is just that, like, the beautiful thing about this World Series is not just that the Dodgers won. It was one of the biggest World Series of all time, the biggest in at least 10 years, probably 40. It was Dodgers versus Yankees, and Freddy Freeman, iconic home run, game 1. And then tonight, the game we just watched, one of the greatest of all time. So I'm going to hand the reins over to Scott Geirman. He's going to take you all home. I'll be back tomorrow night. We're doing a live show. It's going to be on Halloween. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Late night Halloween show. We'll be doing something. So appreciate you all. And before I go out of here,
you take this moment, Jeff. Take this moment. Take this moment. You take this moment.
It's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love this team. This team makes me more sad, more anxious, more hurt than any other team that I follow. It's the most stressful sport to watch. I've told this story before. I was born in 1988, like 3 weeks after the Dodgers won the World Series. The Dodgers did not win a single playoff game until I turned 16 or 17. They didn't win a playoff series until I was like 18 or 19. So I've said long before, like, I don't take for granted literally anything that this franchise does. Winning playoff series, winning divisions, all those things mean something to me because a long portion of my life, that's all that I got to experience was disappointment and hoping you make the playoffs. That said, losing in 2017, losing in 2018 in the World Series, then you start doing are we ever going to make it back? Like, is this ever going to work out? Because then in 2019, you don't make it back. And you're like, what's it going to take? We lose twice in the World Series. Are we going to get another chance? The Frank McCourt era, all of it, right? 2020, they win it. I say it forever. Clayton Kershaw holding up the World Series trophy after running out of the bullpen. All-time greatest Dodger moment for me, period. There will never be another. That's number one on the Mount Rushmore. It's Kershaw running out of the bullpen combined with him holding the World Series trophy because of what that guy went through. But Freddy Freeman's home run is now number 2 on that list. Walker Buehler closing out the game is number 3 on that list. Cody Bellinger, NLCS 2020 is probably number 4 on this list. And then obviously, closing out the 2020 World Series in the top 5 there as well. So I don't take any of it for granted. You all have said it. This team is special because of what they went through, because of the ups and downs, because of the guys who weren't there. But shout out to Dave Roberts. I'm just happy for the guys. Like, I'm happy for Dave Roberts, the crap he took. I'm happy for Walker Buehler, the crap that he took. I'm happy for Mookie Betts for the crap that he took. I'm happy for all those guys like Will Smith, Freddie Freeman. All these guys took crap for people, for different things, and they're freaking World Series champions 2024, and nobody's ever going to take them away. So shout out to the Dodgers. Shout out to 2024. And like I said, get used to me saying for the next 12 months, still champs. See you guys.
Later, buddy.
Later, Jeff.
Later.
All right, we're going to take it over. Chat again, same thing. And before we move on, I just want to say, Daniel Hudson announced his retirement. I think we all saw that coming. That news was breaking. He said, quote, "This is the only reason I came back, to go out on top, and that's what's happening." I know what happened yesterday, but Daniel Hudson was a highly productive reliever for the Los Angeles Dodgers in his tenure with the team. And I don't want that to be lost on everybody just because of that one game yesterday. He's put in a spot where he's on fumes. Like, this is an older reliever. We talked about it. The issue that could have happened was that they were an older bullpen, but he was a big part of that. So, congratulations to Daniel Hudson on an incredible major league career. Anthony, you've been covering it professionally for way longer than I have. From Daniel Hudson, how big is this? How big of an issue, like a piece to this Dodgers puzzle has he been?
Yeah, he was huge. I think that when there were a lot of question marks in that bullpen health-wise earlier in the season, he was one of the guys who was able to sort of hold it down. And that was where he sort of became a leverage reliever in that time, and then he was clearly out of gas late August through September. And you kind of wondered what he would give you during the postseason. He wasn't great, but he was a guy who was able to eat some innings and pass the ball to the next dude. I think that there was a good 2 months of the season, of the regular season, where, like, who knows where they go without him in late inning. Like, he was a setup guy for a long time, and he did a really good job. I think that it was admirable for a guy who, like, remember coming out of spring training, it was like, is Daniel Hudson going to make the roster?
Yeah, it was a very late decision for him to even play. Like, he had he had the thought, and people forget, Sebastian, I know you remember this too, like 2022, before he blew out his knee, like, that was a guy when he stepped in, we were saying, we've got a closer on our hands. Like, this is a guy who can take the reins. They needed a stable arm. So just wanted real quick, congratulations on the career for him. Like, that's stuff that comes out after these World Series moments. Guys hang it up. It's for them. That's their storybook thing. So congratulations to Daniel Hudson on his major league career. He's been a part of some major league teams here throughout his time in Major League Baseball. So congratulations to him. Guys, we got a lot of super chats to get to. I think let's get some fire going. Let's fire this up. Sebastian, you have anything to drink tonight? You celebrated it all, man? What was we didn't even get your initial thing. Like, as hyped as you can be, man, tell me, initial thoughts, that ninth inning, walk me through what you were really feeling there.
Yeah, it's a little bit typical because whenever I'm anxious, whatever sport I'm watching, I can't sit down. I always have to get up, pace around. Kind of going back, kind of getting flashbacks to 2020, that kind of feeling, because that was my first like real time seeing, like getting that close, that feeling of knowing that you're that close, kind of getting flashbacks to that.
Yeah.
But I was fortunately, my dad had to work right now. So I was here watching my mom, and we're just watching together and just counting down the strikes, counting down the outs.
Yep.
And it's kind of special for me with my mom because, my dad was the one who takes me to a lot of games and stuff, but she's right there with him and stuff, growing up and all throughout high school and stuff. So being able to share that with her was pretty special. And yeah, it was really stressful, even though I've been through it before, it never gets any easier.
Never. Yeah. And I'm so with you there. And Anthony gets this, like, my mom, my dad passed when I was young. My dad passed when I was 10. So it's been my mom and myself and my brother for a very long time. The Dodgers, this is the human side of me comes out. And that I've been watching the Dodgers, and they've been a big part of me. Vin Scully's, passing was a big thing on me. Fernando Valenzuela, for all the reasons that a lot of chat feels the same way. Mm-hmm. And my mom texts me every single game. Every single one. And to be there watching, with her, understanding that she knows ball too. My mom knows this team for sure. And being there right there, looking at that, it's just big stuff, man. So from a human aspect, from a, person to person stuff, that's why these things mean a lot. And I know everybody in chat understands this. And that's why we got 4,500 in here. We appreciate all of you. Anthony, same type of feels, right? Big, like that's this type of stuff. These things connect us.
Yeah. You're going to remember these things, not just because of what happened on the TV or if you were at the stadium or whatever, but you're going to remember like the feelings that you had with the people who are close to you, who you share these kinds of moments with, right? You have your Dodger friends, you have, or family, you have your Laker friends and family, you have your whatever football team you like, whatever college team you root for, right? You have those people that you connect with. Like I was on FaceTime with my dad and my brother during the Verdugo at bat, and we watched it that way together. And we were superstitious because we weren't going to watch this game together because we watched it together yesterday and they lost, right? Like, we take it there with, and so, we're going to have, I'm always going to like in 2020, I remember exactly how that went down after Urias got that third out. Yeah. And the phone calls and the FaceTimes and then let's do a shot on the phone together and like that kind of stuff. Right. Like, and this is the same sort of thing. And like, we're already like, okay, who's driving to the parade? Like whose car are we taking? Like it's going to be that kind of stuff. And it's going to be, Fernando's birthday and we're going to be in downtown and all of that kind of stuff. Like all of that is going to, in 10 years is going to be part of this bigger memory for me and mine of like how this all went down and how this all happened. And like, for me, also to like be a part of this all season and my first year being on DodgerHeads and being part of Dodger Blue, and how that happened was like February, and I was watching Laker Nation, and Jeff was guest hosting for Trevor on Laker Nation. And I said, you know what? I'm going to hit these dudes up. And so I found email. I'm a reporter, found their emails and said, hey, let's chat. And then Jeff passed that on to Matt, and Matt said, Anthony, dude, like I've been following you for years. There we go. I know you've covered baseball, blah, blah, blah. Like you really want to do this? I said, yeah, man, I'd love to hop on. Like I don't have those like commitments as a journalist now. Like I'm still a journalist, but I do something a little different now. And so I can jump on a show like this and be a fan with everybody and interact with the folks on the chat. And so for me to be a part of this all summer long and go through the fall like this, really, really special for me to be able to do this 2-3 times a week with everybody, through the ups, the downs, and to finish it off with a night like tonight. I'm super, super grateful, not just for you guys and Dodger Blue, but for everybody in the chat. Like for me, 2024 is going to be all of the things we talked about, and it's also going to be being a part of this.
No doubt. Chat, real quick, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, share this around, ring that notification bell for us. Dodger Heads, we do our best, our absolute best to bring you, breaking coverage. We've got, Blake at the games, Matt at the games, doing terrific coverage for us. Like they work tirelessly. All hats off to them. They drive they're the wheels, they're the gas, they drive this all. We're pieces to it. We do our best to contribute and really bring you the best from both, a human aspect, from analysis standpoint. We all are bits and pieces of what make everything at Dodger Blue go. So, we appreciate you. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have the 4,500 in here tuning in. Everybody, we've got everydayers that tune in. And again, shout out to you. Thanks a bunch. So we've got a lot of super chats to get to. We're going to hammer them out. Chris falls in line. 2024 Dodgers, my favorite team of all time. I can watch highlights of this team the rest of my life without any sad thought. They didn't go all the way. Memory will be forever. Yeah, will be my joy forever. No doubt. Yes. Thanks for Chris. Good to see you, man. Absolutely. Congratulations to you. Scott Nixon. Thanks to the IL crew, Gavin Stone and Tyler Glass. Now I never want to see a bullpen game again. Those were stressful. Those were stressful. But I think that when we started to realize and it's tough, it's never good to see them, air quotes, punt a game. But when you look at the plan and the team and the faith that they have and the guys and letting it play out, if you look at the NLCS, Anthony, and you say, yeah, they had to punt, not punt a game, but bullpen it and figure it out from there. The 100th percentile outcome was the one they did against the Padres. And that was just,
right.
That was great execution or great plan, perfect execution type stuff that, you've seen it one time and you're like, okay, they say a bullpen game. That's what people expect. But sometimes in a 7-gamer, you have that time to let your rotation reset. That's why that one, you got to see all the A guys, all of them go out there and just air it out. In the NLCS and in the World Series, it was just about prolonging this and putting yourself in an advantageous spot for the next game. And thankfully, the offense carried the load. And to all the people who said that the offense was going to be the biggest part, look who came back, and then the pitching staff held it down. So you got to see the perfect storm of both of them, everybody picking each other up. Gabriel, and that's all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 World Series champions, your Los Angeles Dodgers. Go Dodgers. Yeah, man, go Dodgers. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the support here. In the words of Ice Cube, today was a good day. Happy Halloween, you guys. Great, great, great content. Keep up the fantastic work. We appreciate the super chat. Anthony, anything here?
I know it took a game longer than everybody wanted to, but, when they went back to New York and Fat Joe opened for game 3, it was over.
Yeah.
It was over. You cannot put Fat Joe on the same level as Ice Cube. And Yankee Stadium knew it, because you felt what Dodger Stadium.
He had a Tim's on the mound. He had the Tim's on the mound, Anthony. That stressed me out. I saw him step on. And Sebastian, were you freaking out? He put the Timberlands on the mound, and I was like, what are we doing?
I was more freaking out when watching Cube. I was like, Cube, don't step on the lines, dude. You got real close a couple of times. I was kind of worried about the jinx.
All right. Paul Kike was a spark plug in the 5th. Was his hit in the base running. The championship is also for Tommy Lasorda. I mean, yeah, the parallels to 1988 and all the history that the Dodgers do. What I love about this franchise, aside from the the turnaround they've had since Guggenheim came in, and the stable aspects of this franchise, I love so much and appreciate, and we all take for granted like we do. If you think the Dodgers are they are the vessel, that's the. Look around to other major league organizations. You're not going to find the structure that the Dodgers have like that. It just doesn't happen. But Tommy Lasorda, in the history that the Dodgers have, they do an incredible job. I would say better than most, if any team around the league, of remembering all of the people who have come before them in the past and doing their best to educate people and, give them their flowers. Because without that history and the grounds that they've broken, this type of stuff just means that much more. And they do an incredible job of honoring everyone that's come before them. Anthony, what, speak to this, please, like, because you've done this a lot. Like, what stands out a lot about the Dodgers and how they honor kind of the people who've come before?
Yeah, well, they've rightfully taken some heat for the way they didn't honor Fernando Valenzuela in a timely manner,
Yeah.
right? And they rectified that, and man, thank goodness they rectified it when they did, because it would have been an absolute shame if they had to do it after he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they finally figured that one out and got it right. The Hall of Fame needs to come and recognize, maybe the back of his baseball card isn't worthy of a plaque, but I think his impact on the game and his impact on the game on the West Coast, not just in LA, but going farther south into San Diego, what that did for baseball in the Southland and near the border, was as impactful as any foreign-born player, maybe aside from maybe Otani. And I think that needs to be recognized as a great contribution to the game. And I think Cooperstown needs to recognize that next. But to answer the bigger question, there's so much history with this organization and with this franchise from Brooklyn to LA, and they really do a good job of keeping that alive. And so that fans like us, fans who are now in their 20s, know who Sandy Koufax is, right? Yeah. They know who Roy Campanella is. They know who Jackie Robinson is, but though they keep those names alive. And I think what's special about this 2024 team is it's going to be in 40 years, there's going to be kids who aren't born right now who are going to know Shohei Otani, who are going to know Mookie Betts, who are going to know Freddie Freeman. They're going to know Walker Buehler, right? They're going to know Clayton Kershaw, because the way this organization handles its players is something that is to be, it's the envy of the league in a way. Like, look, man, there's a reason why the Giants are missing out on a lot of these free agents, because these players talk to each other. And there's certain aspects with that organization that players did not enjoy. And it's why that they flirt and they offer very similar contracts that the Dodgers do, and they're not landing anyone. And the stuff that they did with Carlos Correa, that left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And the Dodgers, on the other hand, I think, especially with the Guggenheim or ownership group, I think they're going to be similar to what the Lakers have been, where they would rather overpay a star to keep him there a little longer than they should, because they feel like they're ours. And I think there's something to be said to that. It's not our money. And so, you know what? If Clayton Kershaw wants to be a Dodger, keep him as a Dodger. I don't want to see him in a Baltimore Oriole uniform or a Texas Ranger uniform or something. You know what I mean? Like, he's ours. And I think this organization understands things like that. And that's part of what makes it special.
Yeah, no doubt. Everything you said was, spot on there. Sebastian, I'm going to come to you with this here. We haven't had a chance to speak on, Fernando and his loss, and a lot of people, naturally, his birthday's coming up with the parade and with this series right here. Fernando Valenzuela, big impact in your life and your family, being a Dodger, how much did that, he mean to you, your family, stuff like that. So speak on that for me, man.
Yeah, obviously, being Mexican, being a Mexican American, it's a huge part of my family, especially my dad's probably childhood and life growing up. Yeah, it's kind of in my wheelhouse, because I'm a big history buff, big history nerd. I could watch YouTube videos on I like Roman history or any kind of history, but I could just watch YouTube videos all day on that stuff, and especially sports stuff. That's kind of just, that's the blending of two interests right there. So it's kind of perfect for me. That's always what that's really what it's all about for sports. It's knowing the people that came before and what kind of the foundation and how this franchise, whatever franchise, how it is, how they made it what it is today. Specifically Fernando, there's really good documentaries like the 30 for 30. There's really good 30 for 30, right? On that. That was kind of my first exposure, because I'm younger, wasn't there. There's really not books and stuff. Or there are books, but it's kind of about accessibility. So that was the really first accessible thing for me to kind of dive into, kind of the backstory and all that. And I'll kind of put it this way, it's adjacent, it's football, but that's why, even though it sucks being a Raiders fan, that's why I love being a Raiders fan, because it's such a big thing in our organization. It's like once Raider, always a Raider. And, we really do the best out of any kind of franchise. We have like alumni day every year and stuff like that. So that's really what that's what gets me invested into sports teams and sports franchises, is having that, knowing the organization cares about their players, and especially all the players, but the great players, honoring them and stuff like that. So that's what it's really all about.
There you go. Yeah, it's to a lot, and just a lot of credit. And I think that the Dodgers will reward, some of these guys. They're not going to go to the extent of like signing like a Steven Strasburg type of contract after you win a ring, give ground, like major breaking stuff like that. But it's players that's why I tweeted out a few days ago with Walker Buehler's performance. It was, you've got to keep him around. That's the type of guy. It's like he came through the organization. Stuff I wouldn't believe I'd be saying with how he was, and Walker Buehler spoke on it. He thought he'd be released. So it's those type of guys, and they're cemented in the team's history. You keep them around for that reason. All right, we're gonna hammer through these. It says, thank you to thank you, Dodgers. This means so much. Please, if the team does nothing else in the offseason, please keep the team together. Signed, Walker, probably Kike Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez. So thankful. Freddie, Dodger Blue, thank you. Got me through the season. Alex, thank you so much for sticking around. The people that tune in, we are nothing without you. So that's why we get on here. We say our thanks every single night. That's how just how we operate here. Blake Smith, Buehler and Teoscar contract, love incoming. No
Agreed.
doubt. You've got to find a way to make some things happen. Teoscar Hernandez, qualifying offer is definitely going to be a thing. I think there will be some money shuffling around. So it's definitely stuff to figure out on that end. But he's been open. He's been open about wanting to stick around for sure. So we'll see how.
We have all winter to get deeper into this. But tonight, Juan Soto told reporters that they asked him, do the Yankees have the inside track on re-signing you? And he said every team will have a equal opportunity.
There you go. That's just, that's playing the game. That's playing the game. So we'll get into that, Chet. People who tune in, Blake and I love to talk, free agency and kind of, putting teams together and talking free agency and stuff like that. So we'll get to it. We'll cook in the offseason about that. Just give us some time. Let us cook. We make some things happen here at Dodger Blue. Undisputed Talk. Doc is here till he retires. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this cements, if anybody questioned it, this was an absolute masterclass from Dave Roberts. Doctober lives. This was just some stuff with a team that lacked the depth in pitching. They figured it out with the guys that they had. So it's just masterclass and stuff. I think that for me, that was, of course, it was the most impressive part. But coming into this postseason, Anthony, it was like, what's different from 2023? Well, it was the fact that we had two horses at the front that you could lean on, and then third and Walker Buehler coming in, who made himself. He was the second best of the bunch. He was right there. You could argue he was the most valuable arm of the postseason. You could say it. Yamamoto came in there and he had the clinching stuff. And he's just terrific the whole time. But Walker Buehler making himself available in the clincher tonight. You could chop it up however you want, but it was the fact that they had some reliable arms at the front end. They weren't afforded in 2023. And Dave Roberts was able to do what we all know and we see what he could do. Big Bob Johnson, what have you done for me lately? Love you, buddy. Thanks for being here the whole time. Says, like I said, after Freddie's walk-off, it's been a lifelong memories for me and my 5 kids. We appreciate you, man. I'll continue at the parade. Let's go. Yep, absolutely. Peyton Brown, live in Texas. Do we know if the parade will be streamed?
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably. Yeah, no doubt. Sure that'll be on SNLA for sure. That'll be on, Dodger stuff. It'll probably be on all local news. That's big stuff. SNLA will probably have the most long coverage all day. They'll be doing interviews, replaying stuff there.
You won't miss it, Peyton, at all.
You won't miss a thing. Don't sweat that. And it'll all be posted on YouTube everywhere, Twitter, all over the place. Charlie, no Buehler. As a clinch closer, the dude, I even have a picture with him from FanFest.
Nice.
Yeah. That's memory type of stuff. So cool things. Yeah. I like the quote. That hits you in the heart when he says that at times he felt he was released, but that just speaks to him being, transparent and open. He felt when he was at his lowest. That's a confident guy who had everything in the world to, say he's got that mentality to stick around and be a guy, but he even understands that it's a business. It's a performance industry. And he even knew that he either had to perform or wasn't. And I was on here with Jeff. And probably with you, Anthony, too, that if the Dodgers weren't in the position that they were, that they needed these arms, Buehler probably never has this opportunity to figure it out like this and pitch in this, this stuff, right?
No, not at all. If things go even a little bit more according to plan, he may not even make the roster.
Yeah.
He might not even be on the roster. And if so he makes the roster. If he doesn't figure it out, and he figured it out. Like and then he grinded through, some of that because he still wasn't exactly right, but he found a way, right? If he doesn't do that, think about this. They got to find another guy who could fit that slot. And it probably ends up being Landon Knack.
Yeah.
And I don't know how confident we are with Landon Knack pitching big games in the postseason for us as a starter, as a guy who has to give you length. And, this run maybe looks different if Walker Buehler doesn't give them the starts that he's given them in this month. And so for him, that's huge because the pitching was supposed to be the strength here, in terms of depth and all of that. And it just had not been for a long time. And they came in, we said it last week of the season. How confident are we that this team can make this run? And I know I said they can make a run. I believe they're good enough to make a run. My confidence is waning though, because I think we had just gotten the Tyler Glasnow news. And it was like, who's going to pitch for this team?
Yeah. And what's great, I'm going to bring in Matt, our fearless leader. What's up, buddy? I'll bring you in one sec, but the Max Muncy and all the players, they talk about the series in Atlanta when they got the news about Tyler Glasnow kind of being a rallying moment. Like, this is who we've got. Matt, perfect timing. From that moment, this team in Atlanta, we're going to just pinpoint that. They came together as a unit. These are the guys that they have. They're going to forge on. Now up until tonight, Walker Buehler throws the final out. Speak to this team. Just whatever you've got up in the heart, like in the heart and on the top of the dome, like just, lay it out, buddy. It's great to see you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job. Tonight I was kind of popping in and out as I was waiting for all the interviews to finish over on the MLB side and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Just obviously kind of a surreal sort of night, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of moments throughout this season. I know I told you guys privately, I came on these shows and said, I'm not sure if the Dodgers have it this year. And you guys touched on a lot of it. I mean, there's so many that my mind is kind of racing in a bunch of different directions. There's so many different things you could look back on. You guys mentioned, I know you kind of teed me up for the meeting in Atlanta. And yeah, that was, I was certainly in the camp of, Glasnow's not coming back this year. There's no way they can do this. And, at that point, we hadn't seen Walker Buehler anywhere close to what he ended up becoming in October. And as you guys mentioned, without kind of a rash of more injuries and things happening, he might not have even been in that position anyway. And at that time, it wasn't looking like it, right? Like, he wasn't pitching. I know I was myself, Jeff, Scott, you a little bit, Anthony. I can't remember where you guys fell as well, but I defended Buehler a lot throughout the year, but it even got to a point for me where I thought, man, like, it just might not happen for this guy this year. He's really struggled.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily, refining his pitch mix, which I know you were big on throughout the year. Somehow, they came together. Not somehow. I mean, they had talent, certainly. Dave Roberts, I know that you guys were discussing the job he's done. I think getting them throughout the year with all the injuries was significant. Go ahead.
But also, Matt, like what we forget is what we didn't know about Yoshinobu Yamamoto at that time. We had no clue what he was going to be after he comes back from injury. And he comes out in the postseason, he throws 18 2/3, 3.86 ERA, pitches in big spots. Like, that part should not be lost on fans. And that moment when you lose Tyler Glasnow, it's like, you don't know what you're going to get out of Yamamoto at that point. You might be going with Jack Flaherty and you've got Walker Buehler and there's your two. And then Yamamoto comes back, and from what you've seen with Yamamoto, and Anthony spoke on it earlier, about how impactful he was, and Jeff touched on it too. Yamamoto, he incredible postseason in his debut.
Yeah, I mean, the obviously his first start was a little shaky, and was it to be expected? You want to excuse it a little bit? It's his first time in MLB postseason, stuff like that. Sure, probably some nerves at play and things like that. But after that, the Dodgers needed him to pitch extremely well in each of his starts, and he delivered every time. I mean, obviously, Game 5 in the NLDS speaks for itself. Yep. Then once they got into the NLCS, of course, that outing, and then to do it again in the World Series, kind of managing his schedule and keep staying true to that. And even if it frustrated me and meant they were going to, quote, punt/not punt some playoff games here and there, they found a way to sort of get through they obviously found a way to get through everything.
Thank God that's not going to be a storyline that we need to discuss anymore.
We don't have to talk about that being the demise of the season, that the Dodgers punted a World Series game. Sebastian, I want to get your thoughts real quick on, the yesterday with the Dodgers and Dave Roberts. I mean, that's the plan. They had the plan. They did it in the CS, and people it's just a tough look. And I know in the middle of tonight's game, I was saying, man, Game 4, like, why, they had the lead. Why didn't they figure that out? Like, find a way to make, capitalize on having a lead. But with the angst that comes from essentially, we'll quote, punting a game, where did you stand on that, with Game 4, how the Dodgers managed it coming into tonight? Speak to the confidence, you had with, all the bullpen dogs being ready to go, and how they saved today. They say they kept the game where it was at. Speak to that for me.
Yeah. Once it got to, you don't want to let that slip away, like you said, but I was really like, you gotta set yourself, because perfect example today, you never know what you're going to get from your starting pitching, because one, it's bad enough that you're doing bullpen games every once in a while. Couple that with like a start like today, with when one of your starting pitchers doesn't have it, and if they don't win today, they're in a really bad hole, because they have to use all their bullpen again in this game and get ready for Game 6. So in my eyes, I was you don't want to give that one away like that, but it better set you up for Game 5 and beyond. You're just kind of preparing yourself for all like eventualities. And it really, like, Kopech, when Roberts brought in Kopech, I'm like, oh man, you're down 5-0. I really give a lot of credit to Robert there. I'm like, you're down 5-0 using Kopech.
Yeah.
Because I'm already I'm bringing it back a little bit. This postseason, I've been really confident in the offense's ability to push cross runs. I've never really thought they've been out of it, but like, you're down 5-0 against Cole.
That's how we operate, man. We think about all that. We look at where it's at. We look at the score. We see who's available. Like, Kopech, is this the most optimal spot for it? But what the Dodgers have had, and credit to Eric Steven for putting that chart out a bunch about the usage of relievers and where the spots that they went against the order from the New York Yankees. Incredibly helpful tool. Going to Kopech right there, it was like the first thought in my mind is it got the gears turning. How many arms are going to be available? Are they going to be able to do this? You're looking at, you have to have clean innings. And it's just, we talk about the 100th percentile stuff that went in the San Diego Padres series and that bullpen game. Are they going to be able to do this again? If the Yankees pop one, and we saw it pretty quick there, how fast they can do some big damage. You leave one and they hang it, you hang it, they bang it. It gave me some anxiety. And with the bullpen stuff, guys have to be perfect. That's the problem. We talk about it. When there's a flood on one end, to come back, every single thing has to be perfect. Multiple. You have to win innings. For every run they score, you have to score 2 to start clawing back. And do you have enough time to make that equation happen? So that's a good point you bring up. Like, early, just right when the Kopech came in, I had to start thinking that myself.
Yeah. I was kind of finishing. I thought, like, credit to Roberts. Like, I don't know if you saw that. Like they said on the broadcast, we don't know if he saw the 5-run inning coming, but it really kind of saved the game. You have the top of the order, and you kind of keep the game where it is, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So, that was a really big turning point in the game, obviously. And I think obviously the results speak for themselves, but I think that was, in hindsight, that was the right decision in Game 4.
Yeah, no doubt. Speak to this, Anthony. I see you got something ready to go.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into this because they won and this is a celebration. But I will say they were facing the worst scenario possible.
Yeah.
Coming off of yesterday. So you do what you did yesterday. And the worst case scenario coming off of that for this club was happening.
Correct. Yes, exactly. You get beat, you can get down early. Garrett Cole gets to settle in, and he was shoving. Make no mistake about it, guys. Everybody in chat, Garrett Cole was humming. He was filling up the strike zone. Worst case.
You're getting smoked.
Yep.
Your Flaherty gives you nothing, not even length. If he would have went 5 and given up 5, okay. He couldn't even get you through 2. And he's gone and you're down 4-0. Now, because you used all your non-leverage guys for bulk in the game, you did sort of punt twice. Like that decision had to be made twice in game 4. We won't go into that again. We did it all last night, but now you have to use leverage arms in what's looking like it's going to be a blowout, and you're going to have to use them for a lot of outs.
Yes.
This was going to be a worst case scenario coming off of game 4. And they fought back, and the arms they did use kept the score kind of where it was, and they came back and won. Because what you're asking for, if they did end up losing this game, even if it was by 1 run, they had to use everyone, though. Now you're asking for Yamamoto to spin an absolute gem for you. And that's not guaranteed. That's not a guarantee. And then if he doesn't give you that and the Yankees eke another one out, it's game 7 and it's baseball, and anything can happen.
That's when history comes into play, and that's when I think of all the lines. How many times I watched 4 Nights in October with the Red Sox, and I can hear Kevin Millar in my mind talking about, "Don't let us win tonight." I know they were piping that in a bunch, but you hear about that stuff, you think about that, and that's baseball. Narratives happen, and people like these players hear this stuff. It gets loud. Like Dave spoke on it. The players hurt. This was one of Matt. You and Anthony have been doing this a while, and I lean on that a lot and the experience there, and I appreciate it. Was this a year that you heard that the the coaching staff and players being more vocal about outside noise being as loud as ever? Because as a fan watching, maybe it was just reported on more, or they were more open to talking about it. But did you hear that a little bit more this postseason?
A lot more. And it didn't, and I'm glad you said the postseason, because it didn't start until then, and it didn't even come out until after the Dodgers eliminated the Padres and won Game 5. That was when Max Muncy was the most vocal about it, saying, expletives and this and that. A lot of people doubted us, and that's when he kind of sang it. And then Dave Roberts was asked about it and said, I think these guys were motivated by kind of being an underdog, if you will, and it surprised me a little bit that the players were so vocal about it, just because it was a big shift from what we've seen in the past. And the team has always, I think operated very business-like of, hey, we're not going to necessarily worry about that stuff. And not that they worried about it per se, but I think, look, as I've never played at that level, certainly I'm not, I'm not close to minor league baseball, but being a competitive person, enjoying playing sports, I think it's fine to draw some added motivation, quote unquote emotion, if you will. And I don't think we saw that all the time in years past. And that was something that, sort of bothered me with this team. I know it was a huge argument of, well, Jeff would always say, are they, emotional or not? Are they is it just that they're not winning? And so that's why the emotion isn't coming out? Sure, there's some of that, but Mookie said it, during that NLDS, maybe at the end, once the Dodgers won, that he, took kind of some advice from Kike on, hey, you can let some of the playoff excitement, you can ride the wave, I think was how Mookie said it. It doesn't need to be just so robotic every time. And I think that is true. If you feel you're being slighted, use that for some motivation. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're then putting added pressure on yourself to now go and get this hit. It's okay, in Mookie's case, I'm Mookie Betts. In Otani's case, I'm Shohei Otani. These are some of the best players in baseball. You're going to doubt me? No, I'm about to show you what I'm capable of doing. And I think that can be used in a healthy way. It can also go south. You do need to be careful, but it can be used in a healthy way. And I think we saw some of that this year. And I'm not going to say that that's what propelled them to winning the World Series by any means, but I think it was certainly a benefit.
Yeah, they were very workmanlike, very businesslike in previous postseasons, which is interesting because in all those, the 111 win year, the 105 win year, all those seasons during the regular season, they had that grind in them. I mean, that's why they won all those games. And then they got to the playoffs and it was buttoned up suit and tie, aura. And this year, and we talked about it before the season, if there's ever a year where they're going to figure out that Michael Jordan, I'm the best player and I'm on the best team, but I'm still going to figure out a way to motivate myself. This was the year that the ammunition was actually there and it was real.
For sure.
And they did it. They used it. And, the bullpen and the whole dog thing and all of that, like, I'm sure that helped, right? That carries over in the clubhouse. They all sit next to each other, like, stuff like that. And, I just think there was a lot more character on this team than there had been in the past. And there is a little bit of chicken and the egg, Matt, right? Like you and Jeff had talked about, of like, well, does the winning breed the personality, or does it vice versa? It's probably a little bit of both, but like, I think when you're able to take a step back and go, you know what, it's us in here. And no one else thinks we can do it. Yes, they're blaming our payroll and they're talking this and they're talking that, but now they're saying, well, we're hurt and it's everyone's picking against us. They picked against the Dodgers in the World Series, like when they were up 3-0, like, you know what I mean? And so I think they finally figured out a way to take all of that and use it as motivation. And it showed. It really did show. And it showed tonight because like Mookie said, they asked about being down 5-0, and he was like, we hadn't used all 27 of our outs yet. So we were fine in the dugout.
No doubt. I'm going to hammer through some super chats here again. Shout out to the 4,900 in here across all social media. We appreciate you a bunch celebrating with us tonight. Air your thoughts out. Super chat's the best way. We're going to get to them right now. I'm going to just I'm going to say a good 10, 15 just to get through these best we can. Brian G talks us up. It's been an honor to go through the rough season with you all. The best Dodgers channel anywhere. Matt, our fearless leader. He's here with us all, keeps this thing going. He keeps us all in check, keeps it in line. He is a tireless individual. So all credit to him a lot of the days, Blake as well. Yeah, Matt, what's up?
Scott,
You have something?
I do. I appreciate you saying that. But I want everybody to know, and you guys know, like, we're a team. Like, this thing wouldn't function the way it does without contributions from everybody. And so I appreciate those kind words. I try to take as much burden as I can off of you guys, but at the end of the day, I need everybody, and we mesh well and we enjoy it. We have fun, and we certainly appreciate everybody who joins us tonight throughout the playoffs and on random Tuesday nights in May after the Dodgers played the Reds and we're going live, right? And it's like, a 10-1 win. What is there really talk? Like, everybody makes it fun.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you, Scott.
No doubt, man. Absolutely. I mean, it's not lost on myself. We're fortunate to do this. We brought Sebastian on. He's, on the writing end. That he's been, dynamite from that. So we got a great squad here. Brian, thank you for this one. Phantom, woohoo. How was that for you? Woohoo. Is that pretty good?
There you go. The second one was better.
All right, better. Picked up my jersey, hat, and pants in the offseason. So effing happy. Got my World Series champ shirt and hat on the way from West Coast of Canada. I bleed blue. We got fans all over the place, man. Like, we get people overseas, like, different time zones. We appreciate that a bunch. We got regulars that tune in next day that comment on the videos, and we check all those. So we're pretty active on it. All comments, stuff like that. We check it all. T tosses this in. Doc is going to the Hall of Fame as a first ballot. More to do. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, make no mistake about it. Dave Roberts has etched himself. Dodgers history, Major League history. He's been part of, incredible postseason stuff dating back to his time with the Dodgers. Then in the 04 Red Sox, having that, a slide that propelled the Red Sox to, an incredible World Series there. Anthony, speak to Dave Roberts real quick on Hall of Fame, status and how easy of a decision is that. And then Sebastian, I want you to follow that up with what you love about Dave, man.
Yeah, I'll be quick because we did speak on this a little earlier. I think he has now earned to call his own shot with this organization. So basically he'll Doc, you tell us when you're done. I think he's at that level now because he's answered all the criticism, and this was probably his best managerial postseason since he's been here, and he did it with less than he's had in the past, and I think he deserves flowers for that. I think also as far as the Hall goes, I think he's a shoo-in now. I wouldn't call him a lock yet, but I think he's a shoo-in. I think he's going to be here a little while. He might pocket 2 or 3 more of these things.
There you go.
And then you 3 years ago, or in 2019, this would have been amazing to say that we were going to be having what I'm about to say now, but he pockets 2 more. We're talking about him as one of the greatest managers in the history of the sport.
All time. Sebastian, go ahead.
Yeah, everyone knows he has like this unprecedented regular season success, and it's just that one he has like the 2020, but people still, they're bringing up on, the kind of post-game stuff. People still kind of mock it, invalidate it, whatever. Kind of getting this one, it does a lot where he has all this regular season success, but people still doubt him because he's made some, mistakes in the past and the playoffs, but a lot of it has been the team just isn't executing, and you just want that postseason success to kind of validate this historic regular season success. Like, this isn't normal. Like, he's like one of the most winningest managers of all time in the regular season, and just because sometimes his team can't get the big hit or can't make the big pitch in the postseason, that kind of all of a sudden just goes away. So this is kind of big for him.
What's been a line lately with me, Matt, is good process, bad execution. So a lot of that stuff, that's how it is. That hit me midway tonight. I was just, Jeff checked me real quick. But that was like the panic stuff coming out. Like, yesterday was great process, bad execution, I guess. But from how it happened today, go ahead. You gonna roast me on something? Take it.
No, not that. I just like earlier, like stuff Anthony was saying earlier, like I don't want to take this completely south. I think we're still going to do a live show at some point, maybe late tomorrow night, to kind of just let the excitement settle in and do a little bit of reflecting. But at one point, I think it was very clear, like, okay, when Kopech came in, I thought, okay, like they're going to basically just look to get 1 inning each out of their high leverage guy, just manage it that way. That way the workloads aren't crazy. You do have an off day. Like, you have to figure out a way to get through the game. And I think, like, I counted, and that would have gotten them, I think, through the 8th or maybe the 7th. And then at that point, I felt like, okay, they'll ask Hudson to go kind of, 3 days in a row for whatever reason. I think so. I kind of lost my train of thought as I was saying all this. Like, to Dave Roberts, yes, like there was tremendous growth by Dave Roberts, but there was also a little bit of luck there tonight, because the way I understand, I don't agree with it. I understand what the line of thinking was last night with the bullpen.
Yep, same.
But like Anthony said, like it pretty much almost backfired, and had this game ended, the other way, like it would have been, in a few days, we may have been talking very differently about Dave Roberts, about this team, about everything. And so it's just kind of funny to see, to Sebastian's point, like in prior years, if Kenley Jansen doesn't necessarily give up a home run, or, if so-and-so comes up with a hit, like we might also like be feeling differently now. Like, it's just kind of funny to see, not sliding door moments, but how quickly and how easily things could sort of be flipped on its head.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and his legacy could have flipped the other way, like you said, Matt, with a couple of hits here or there, or the bullpen bails Kershaw out against the Cardinals, or something like that. Those things, those sliding door moments happen, and his legacy is different coming into this postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna hammer some of these out. Rams Lakers tosses up here. Thanks for this $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Jason Murphy Thomas, if you have any question or anything, if we didn't get to it because of this, we appreciate this one. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for this super chat here. Toss that in chat. We'll get to it. This is an interesting one, something that could take up some time, something that we, go around the 4 boxer and let me know. To do this while Otani has not had his best due to injury shows the team depth. Absolutely. It shows the depth. It shows, for a couple of those games, the Dodgers were winning because of the Yankees were playing so poorly. But what's incredible is that Shohei Otani goes 2 for 19 in the World Series, and they win 4-1. So whoever wants to speak to this, how surprising was that to you? And, kind of make some sense of it. Matt, let me know if you can. How surprising was it?
I'm the wrong one. I'm organizing a surprise for our viewers right now. So sorry.
Anthony, let me know how surprising. 2 for 19. He's at the top of the lineup. We saw they go up 3-0. Otani, look, he hurts his shoulder. We see it. I think a lot of us brushed it off because 3-0 advantage in any 7-game series, especially in the World Series, knowing the history behind that type of lead. I think a lot of us were like, just don't be significantly hurt. Stay on the field. Do what you can. But those struggles didn't change. Like it didn't. Like he played. It looked like it was at a disadvantage to himself.
But his presence still helped.
Exactly. I was like, just stay in the lineup.
It was as impactful a 2 for 20 or whatever he was as could possibly be, because he was still causing stressful at bats for the opposing pitching. And also to answer the other part of the question of like, how surprising is it that they did this with him performing the way he performed? Not surprising at all, because this team is just so deep. And we've talked all season about how they just snowball on you. And it's not all him, right? Like, he was a huge part of it during the regular season, but it's not all him. And it's a relentless gauntlet for an opposing pitching staff to get through, especially for multiple games. And it's surprising that he wasn't as good as he could be, but it's not surprising that everyone else picked him up because they're so deep.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty. We got a nice little surprise for everybody. I don't know if Matt, are we ready for it?
Yeah, I think so. We could try it. We could try it here. Let's see. We're trying to, I don't know how it's going to look for space.
Let's do it. Chat, we got a surprise for you. We got a surprise for you.
All right. Oh, Sebastian. Okay, we lost Sebastian. Thanks, Sebastian.
There he is.
Hello. We're out here.
Where are you?
There we go, Blake.
I am at Yankee Stadium on the field here. You can see all the confetti and stuff on here. They just turned off the scoreboard, so that's not in the background anymore, but still pretty cool. A lot going on still. Everyone's celebrating with their families, and lots of people behind me still here.
Let's go, man.
That's awesome.
Blake,
very happy for you, Blake, to be there, man. That is great. That's great.
You were sending out all the pictures and stuff from our account, but we need some live. We need real intel now from you. What was it like in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
Crazy. It's a very small clubhouse because it's the visitor clubhouse, and they let a lot of media in for the World Series. So, yeah, Shohei and Anthony Banda got me drenched. My shirt is soaked.
See, we have the memories of watching on TV. Blake's got Shohei Otani drenching him in the clubhouse for the World Series celebration. That's stuff that I would never like. Okay, it's my experience than Blake's experience.
Don't ever wash that shirt, Blake.
Never.
And the hat.
Blake, you're getting a lot of love in chat, man.
It's
So
gonna smell
everybody's
pretty
yelling
bad.
to you. Yeah, Blake, you're getting a lot of love in chat tonight. So we appreciate you, man. You know, thanks for the coverage all year, doing this. Traveling around, unforgettable type of stuff here. If you can do us a favor, real quick. With that comeback and being down 5-0, can you speak to that for us a little bit and tell us, walk us through what you were thinking, being up in the press box?
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was kind of over, but I still had confidence in them for a game 6 or even a game 7 if it got to that point. But we've seen all year how relentless this Dodger team is, how resilient they are. They're never out of a game. It's just that's what they kept showing. And it was a perfect moment that's how they actually ended their season and won the championship, because that's what they've done all year.
There we go.
Blake, what about
and guess what, buddy? Yeah.
People want to know how you got a hat so quickly.
MLB PR gave me one. I don't know why, but they were handing them out to some people, so I was lucky enough to get one.
Maybe they saw your credential. It said Dodger. They assumed that it just said Dodgers, as in like, you're with the team, and so here you go.
Maybe. That might not be a bad guess, but I know some other people got them that aren't Dodger media.
Okay. All right. Well, you shouldn't have disclosed that, Blake. You killed the narrative. Yeah, there we go.
Blake, how is the atmosphere, walking around, through the stadium after the Dodgers won this thing? Just tell us how silent that thing was.
Fans were leaving when I was heading to the press box to start heading down to the clubhouse, and they were very quiet. Yankee fans were shell-shocked by what happened, I guess is the correct term. And Dodger fans were here. The ones that stayed here and showed out through the end, they were pretty loud. I think you could probably hear a lot of the chants on the broadcast. And they stayed here until a half hour ago. I think they just got kicked out of the stadium. So it's been really cool.
Love it.
Blake, real quick, I got a couple questions about the celebration. If you had eyes, I know you were taking photos, doing all the coverage stuff there. Who was getting the craziest in the clubhouse?
Everyone. Shohei was definitely going after it. Jack Flaherty.
I love that.
So do I. Yeah.
I think the new guys who haven't experienced it before were probably the craziest with it. So I think that was definitely them.
There you go. All right. Blake, man, we appreciate you as always. I'm going to give you the floor for a second. If any final things you want to speak to this season, all the highs and the lows and where this 2024 season kind of ranks for you.
Man, this was a special season. I think 2020 is up there too, just because of everything that went on that year and them winning the first one of my. But seeing it like on the road this year, that I got to experience that for me personally was really special. And then like this team all year had kind of a different feel to it, even in the down times. I was pretty confident in them still. We had a lot of those late night Dodger therapy shows where we were trying to talk people through it and say like it's going to be okay, they're going to be fine.
Patience.
I got my World Series prediction right since March. I've been staying that one confidently every month that they're going to win. So I'm pretty happy about that one. But yeah, this is a really special club. It's going to be one we don't forget very soon. Like this is going to be one that lives forever, especially with the moments that they had, like Freddy Freeman's grand slam. We're going to be seeing that played forever.
And the last question I have for you is, do you finally know who Fat Joe is?
I know he's a person that sings. Apparently, I don't know anything else about him. It was really bad.
All right, that's a good one. But Blake, I have one more, and then we could send you out on this because I know that people definitely want to see the Clubhouse videos. Will you be ordering pizza again tonight so that Spider-Man delivers it to you this time?
Probably not. I'll probably go with something else. I haven't decided on that yet, but we'll figure it out here soon.
All right.
We love you, buddy.
Work to do still.
If anybody has really late night or maybe early morning food suggestions, definitely tweet Blake or our account because he'll be needing some help there. It might be about 4 a.m. by the time he's heading back to the hotel or something crazy.
Yeah.
Are you staying
Blake,
in the city
appreciate
or
you,
Bronx?
man. Blake, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you. Love you, man. Great season. Thanks for all the coverage. You work really hard, man. It's not lost on all of us.
I'm seeing if I can find anyone here real quick. Just
For
to
a
try and
live
get them
interview?
live. Just a question or something if I can find anyone, but
Find Vassay.
yeah, that would be pretty good if I could.
Where's DV? All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna run through some super chats here. Okay.
All right.
Want to toss this one up, Jenny? Thank you so much for this $50 super chat. This is one of the big ones. So she says, "Thank you for an amazing live streams all season and postseason, and never giving up on Buehler through 2024." Let me tell you, Jenny. I mean, it was a roller coaster type of season, for Walker Buehler fandom. Having to walk, see through, how he was, continuing to develop in this, different stage of his career. So definitely, I mean, there were people who did give up on Walker Buehler. It happens because when you see it's a performance industry and that's how it goes. So the criticism is fair. Walker Buehler even said it. He stood in front of the, interviews and microphone and everything.
Okay, cool.
Who do you got?
Hey guys, we're here with Dino Ebel.
Hey,
Dino.
what's up, fellas?
Hey, Dino. How are you?
All right, all good, man.
So,
Congratulations.
Hey, we're champions, bringing it home to LA. So we can't wait. Like Dave said, get that parade going, man. We're ready for it.
Dino, can you answer one question for us just real fast? In that big comeback inning, what was, your thoughts? Talk me through that inning, how you saw when Teoscar had that big game time, that blast there. Walk me through your thoughts there when Teoscar put that one over Aaron Judge's head.
Yeah. Actually, the inning opened up. They made him miscue out in center field. Judge took his eye off the ball, and then, the ball was hitting the 6th hole, and Volpe tried to throw to third to get Kike. So then couldn't get that play down. So then, you know what? Anytime you get some momentum and it's coming on your side, I've just still felt that, one big hit. And then, then Mookie gets the ground ball to first base, and, they don't cover first. So, in big games like this, you got to play defense. It comes down to defense and pitching. They opened the door for us to get the big hit to score 5 runs. Freddie Freeman, and then Teo knocks that double in to score Freddie. So the momentum shifted. I felt it. We felt it, and it was actually silent. Heard the Dodger fans screaming. So that was the moment that I was living out here in the box.
Yeah, the overwhelming theme for us on the Dodger Blue Channel has been this team has just been relentless, and the relentlessness of it. And if you open the door for them just a slight bit, that talent is going to show through. And it was clear that if you gave them that opportunity, it was going to happen. Out of 5-0, can anybody foresee that being a deficit to come back from? But it's just beautiful, and in a moment that caps off in a terrific season. So we appreciate you, Dodger Blue. Thank you. You know, terrific work this year. Dino, thanks for hopping on for just
All
a
right,
second.
thank you so
Congratulations,
much, man.
sir. Thank
Can't
you
wait
so
to see
much.
everybody. Can't wait. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, just, you know, unbelievable stuff from Dino. Blake's going to keep doing that stuff for us while he's walking around. We're going to see if we can get some through some more of these here. Sean, the two best teams in baseball were the Dodgers and the Padres. Good on the Dodgers. I wish we had their payroll. Yeah. I mean, we talked relentlessly. We'll keep that a theme about how the Dodgers and the Padres series was one that felt like a World Series. You know, Anthony, how much weight did you put on that Dodgers Padres series? And were you thankful that it was a 5-gamer and not a 7-gamer just because of the depth the Padres had?
Yeah, you know what? I think if they catch them in the NLCS, I don't know that they have the pitching depth to get through 4 wins. I think they had just enough to push to where they did and got a gem from Yamamoto in the 5th. If they needed another starting pitching performance like that against them, I don't know where it comes from, given how everything had lined up. You know, I think they were actually fortunate to catch them first. And because I do think the Padres are probably the best team they faced during this run. Yeah, I think they were better than the Yankees. At least they matched up better against the Dodgers than the Yankees did. And so I think catching them first, only having to beat them 3 times was actually ended up being an advantage.
Yeah. You know, Matt, anything to add right there?
I mean, do I take my victory lap now or later?
Do it.
Saying the Dodgers don't need to run from playing the Padres in the playoffs. Like, just
at the same thing. Yeah.
Play your games. If that's who you draw in the postseason, so be it. And one of the reasons, like Anthony just outlined, was everybody was so worried about facing the Padres in the playoffs and this and that. You want to avoid them. Like, okay, if you're so concerned about them, just because they're on the other side of the bracket doesn't mean they're going to like magically disappear. Like, at some point, theoretically, you're going to end up playing that team. And so if it is in the NLCS, when you've already gone through one round, you're not as healthy or fresh as you potentially were going to be compared to start, you know, the 5-day layoff before it. Yeah. Play them in a shorter series. Like, as Anthony mentioned, like, you're not going to need as much starting pitching. And so I don't know. I say that a little bit tongue in cheek, but like, I do believe, like, I'm not a fan of tanking. I'm not a fan of trying to manipulate like your playoff stuff. Like, just play the games, and
I got
however the chips fall, they do. And if you're not good enough to beat them, then you probably weren't going to be good enough to win the World Series then.
No doubt. And it's, I think, as we were talking about a lot of the predictions for this Yankees series, and like, you can only play the team in front of you, right? And that's why people were talking. I think I was on here with Jeff and Anthony, you know, the both of you, and we were talking about predictions for the series, or I forgot the topic, but it was about, don't get too deep into the path that the Yankees took to get there, and, you know, an easy path or with whichever, because you can only play the teams that are in front of you. But what I could speak on is the fact that I've seen this Dodgers team get pressed to the absolute limit and have a plan that works for them with the guys that they had, and they executed it perfectly. And it talked about being battle tested and going into this Yankee series. And yes, they're the Bronx Bombers. They can do all this. They've got Soto, they've got Judge, they've got Stanton. And I felt like they had the blueprint. They had the blueprint all year how to navigate a bullpen. And I felt that they had the blueprint. They had the blueprint to really get themselves through this Yankee series. And it was like, just, you know, we spoke to Dino about, you know, relentlessness, and you leave the door open. I thought that was a beautiful thing that he spoke to about, you give this team, you know, a little bit. They're going to find a way. And it's all just right, like,
Blake's got another one for us.
There we go. We got.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Landon? Congratulations on your World Series title for you. You know, speak to it a little bit about this experience for you. And I just want to give you a lot of credit for that performance in Game 4. You did a hell of a job there. So kind of walk me through tonight, you know, that final out. What went through your mind immediately?
Thank you. Yeah, dude. Just honestly, just like still can't fully grasp everything that just happened. I mean, yeah, like as soon as the final out was made, it was just like, just kind of overcome a little bit with just like how special this year has been, just from kind of Korea to the debut to how special this run has been, seeing what this team has battled through to being able to actually hoist that trophy and be world champions my first year in this. I mean, dude, it's just been, it still doesn't even feel real. I think at some point it'll fully hit me, but right now it's just still just insane.
Landon, what's sort of the mood? What's the vibe there you come off of game 4 and all that happened there, and then get into a hole early in this game. Sort of what's the mood there at that moment, and how are guys sort of reacting to that?
I mean, obviously, all year we've kind of been tested a lot. We've bounced back and forth. We've really been a resilient team, and so kind of when we got down, like we knew with this lineup, like our guys, like no lead is safe, and so we were still just very confident. You saw Dave early go to the dogs as soon as he could, just to keep it as close as he could, just to battle through it, and so we knew there was a good chance we could come back in that game. We knew it was nowhere near over, and so just knew we were going to battle through it.
Landon, I just want to give you a lot of credit and the stuff that we heard from Dave about, bouncing back from that tough start and coming into the World Series, knowing that we heard Dave, go to you saying, we will need you in this World Series at some point. Kind of, walk us through that scenario of Dave Roberts saying, and your preparedness going into whenever that next start for you was going to be, or that next appearance for you was going to be. And how do you keep yourself ready for, kind of any situation?
Yeah, we obviously after that game, like little rough, was able to learn some stuff from that, figure out a little bit of tipping issues and some other things. Really try to understand like how to mix a little bit better with some of these guys, and so we kind of made some adjustments after that. And then of course the confidence from Dave and all of them to come up to me and really be like, hey, like we know that one didn't go your way, but I promise you're going to be big in this one as we're moving forward. Like you're going to throw big innings, just be ready. And so they just really gave me a lot of confidence going forward with everything that we were working on. And when we finally got out there, we were just very confident, comfortable, and just wanted to attack and execute everything we were wanting to do.
Yeah, Landon, congratulations. Matt, do you have anything else for Landon? Because I just want to wish him, the best and say, man, you've got a hell of a fastball. And everybody here at DB, Matt, Blake, and I, we really look at all the in-depth analytics there, and we just want to let you know we see what you've got cooking there, buddy. We know what you've got working. Yeah, man. So, yeah, Matt, anything else before we send Landon on his way?
No, just thank you, Landon. I know we talked to you way back earlier this year at a foundation event, and you've always been generous with your time, and including, now tonight. So thank you and congratulations.
Yeah,
congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait for this parade. Oh my God.
Yeah, neither can we.
Right on. With Landon Knack. Blake, you're cooking, man. Thank you so much, buddy. Who else you got? We're going to keep rolling through these super chats here.
I think we're good for the night. Everyone's starting to kind of head off the field, so I'll probably go and get videos published and all that. So, yeah.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Blake. Right. Text me. I'm up late. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's Blake Williams cooking, absolutely cooking. I wish he could. I know Tommy Edmonds is my guy, or Benny Caps was my guy. I wish we could have got him,
but did Blake just peak though? Is it all downhill for him from here?
I mean, that's Blake. Blake's got the in. Don't disrespect. Big Blake Williams. He's got the inside track to getting these guys on a live show. So I think that's something that we should, we could be doing. Man, just saying. All right. What's up, Buttercup? Tossed it in here. Thanks for the super chat. 2020 was the trifecta. Absolutely. All three teams won that year: Lakers, Dodgers, and then Rams a few months later. Buehler closing the game. All mental. Just unbelievable stuff there. Unbelievable stuff. Great super chat. Bish Kirk, shout out to Max Muncy defense, most improved. I mean, I wish he was a little bit taller so he could have got to that, that double down the line from Aaron Judge. I for sure thought that he mistimed that a bit, but yeah, that steady hand there in that ninth inning definitely gave me a big sigh of relief for sure. Big Bob Johnson, can the Dodgers play the Padres opening day so they can be front and center watching the boys in blue get their rings, World Series champs, bleed blue? Absolutely.
Well, the schedule's out already.
Schedule's out, right?
I think it's the Cardinals. Well, obviously they're going to open in Japan first, and then once they come back, it's the Tigers. It's the Tigers. Yeah, the gritty Tigers. Wow, that's the other thing. Did people scoop up any merchandise yet? Because you buy stuff now, and then remember they do the Gold Series every year for the World Series champions. So then at the start of next season, Anthony, like the head Anthony has on the.
I like the gold one.
I'm waiting
more
for
things
this.
come out.
So sick. Yeah, so sick. I love that one. Steven Martin tosses in, extend Doc 10 years, 100 million. I don't know about 100, I don't know about 100 million. I don't know about that. But definitely extend Doc, make no mistake, leave no questions. Like, it's his job. Like, this was a masterclass. We made sure to, exclamation point in front and behind. He had it cooking. Dave Roberts had it. He was in his bag. Absolutely. Rams Lakers tosses this. Which giant name are we doing Mickey Mouse ears giveaway next season? Not seeing giant hats here in NorCal lately. World champs. I mean, look, they had their run, but they're looking at, they had Farhan Zaidi being able to do absolutely zero there. You had to go through the Gabe Kapler experience. They are spinning in circles, and they've got nothing to say about it. It's just, they have no clue what to do. They have no idea what to do. All right.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of rebooting now, right, with Buster Posey. So there's sort of
So we'll see how many dinners he can take to these free agent signings.
Yeah, I mean, for that, like, they've tried to run parallel tracks, right? They've tried to fill the stadium by being competitive while they rebuilt. They've never fully committed to just sort of breaking it down and building it back up, because that ownership group has to fill that ballpark.
Remember when they had all the bullpen arms and they could have just gutted it for a ton, and they just refused?
They had guys who were of value. They don't have anyone of value anymore, really.
Nothing.
But and then on the Buster Posey side is like just such a weird. They're really banking on nostalgia here, because Buster Posey,
I love that. That's so good to put it
in all of those meetings with all of the free agents that they've missed on, from Bryce Harper to Aaron Judge to Shohei Otani. He has been in the room. He hasn't closed the deal either. So, like, okay, he closed the deal with Matt Chapman. That's your guy. That's your marquee
Anthony,
name.
how would you like to be a giant? Like,
I mean, you know what, man? Like, bring Farhan back. I'm sure we have a job for him somewhere. We'll take him back. You guys can, as a Giants, you guys can take Buster Posey, and we'll see who figures it out quicker.
Yeah. Jay says, are we still questioning Dave Roberts? Doc's game 4 punting? Nah. Worked out the way. Anthony laid it out. It could have been worst case scenario. We don't need to touch on it. Shout out to the 5,300 in here across all social media. I'm joined in, Anthony Witrado, terrific addition we've had this year. Matthew Moreno, fearless leader. We appreciate it. Guys, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're going to hammer these super chats here. Thanks for tuning in for, 2 hour and 20-minute stream. This is, a night that we are celebrating. We're giving you the platform. So if you've got anything to talk about, root it on, celebrate. Super chat's the best way. We'll get to it. Stockton Slap. Otani cashing his Dodger champ winner ticket right now. Yes, he is. First season too. That is storybook. That storybook stuff. And Anthony spoke to it a bit ago about just his presence in the lineup. We didn't know about how effective he was going to be with, I think this was the first real shoulder issue Otani's had. And I know it was his backside shoulder. So for me, the first thought was, okay, when I saw him get hurt, it was all right. If it's his backside shoulder, he'll still be able to do some things, but you could clearly see it was hindering him. But it was great that just his presence alone. Absolutely. The Yankees could not take that for granted and really had to account for him still. Mr. Kirk, I watched us lose to the Yankees in the 70s and 80s. Beating them in this lifetime was special for me. I love LA.
Love it.
Awesome. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, that is incredible, because I can't speak to that. I was born in the early 90s, and
I don't. Okay. We know you're young. We know you're young.
Yeah. I'm according to all my friends, I'm the boomer of the group, so that's how it goes. I get it. I'm in my 30s. My knees hurt for no reason. I get it. But I wasn't around for the special runs. I did live through the dark McCourt days to get to this point here. MMA voice, much love, and most
chills.
You say what?
I just got the chills when you said that.
Yes. Much love to the most epic Japan fans. Yeah. I mean, we could see the viewership numbers came out and the support for the Dodgers. And I know Matt, with all the deals and the sponsorship deals that have come out, all that, it was early on. I remember it was one after another, and you could see, support. I started to see more Dodgers merch, definitely, around where I live, definitely going downtown LA. You could see the hype. So the Otani and the Yamamoto, that effect is 100% real. And it's about growing the game. I'm all about growing the game.
Yeah. And that's something that Dave said earlier, back in spring training, that, yes, obviously having Otani and Yamamoto, he said, hopefully we'll paint Japan Dodger blue. And it was a little tongue in cheek, but certainly like they were looking both from a business opportunity to capture that market, from a competitive standpoint of there's still Roki Sasaki out there, and there are other future Japanese players that are going to be watching these guys coming down the line, you know, thinking, oh, look at the success they had with the Dodgers. So it was an investment, and obviously we saw it, Scott, just with, you know, merchandise kind of in and around Southern California. Then, you know, with the TV ratings and things like that Fox was putting out, the different cutaways that they were doing to Otani's hometown in Japan, like just a ton of stuff. Associated Press had different articles of people, you know, out there covering different things. And so, yeah, I mean, it's remarkable and it's great. Like it's good for Otani also. Like I'm happy for him also, not just from, you know, he wanted to win pretty badly. Obviously, like we saw it. We saw his competitive spirit in the World Baseball Classic, right? Like that was the biggest kind of moment that on the state side that we've seen him play in, because being with the Angels, nobody's watching them. They're not doing anything. And so to see all of that and just the interest and kind of support that he could get on a personal level and then for the Dodgers is just obviously great.
Yeah, absolutely. Cortez tosses in, joined in late as I celebrated with my dad and brother. Cortez, you know, you've been supporting us all year long, so do whatever you got to do. We're gonna be here. We don't know when we're hopping off here. We're gonna hammer through these super chats and see where we're at. But you take all the time you need. I'm the same thing. I'm gonna hop off here. Celebration's not done yet. Let's go. Thanks for all the coverage throughout the year. It's for Fernando. That was at a big part of my mind too, and I didn't think it would be. I know I've spoken to a number of older fans about this, and you know, Fernando Mania is something, you know, for all of the documentaries I've watched, the old games, you know, start to finish I've watched of him pitching. Fernando Mania is something that I'm upset that I had missed out on. It's something that I know was a cultural phenomenon, and it's, as a fan of baseball, I know his impact. I understand his impact. I wish it was something I was a part of. Let's see. All right. Don't care. 1A7. Dave Roberts, Hall of Fame manager. All the flowers. All the flowers. Matt, what did we learn about Big Dave Roberts this postseason that people might have not have realized so far?
That he is making the calls in the dugout, and it's not just, you know, Andrew Friedman or somebody from the front office calling
him on
games.
a phone, saying, do this, do that. Like,
the most tired narrative of this organization. Yeah.
I never thought that. I couldn't, but every time somebody said that, I was like, let's not act like that's happening. Like, it's not.
And even, you know, Bob Guerin, he was on MLB Network tonight before the game, and he said, look, like, yes, Andrew Friedman and the front office they have a big group, a strong group. They do rely on data and numbers, but he said ultimately also they incorporate, I think the exact word he used was instincts of both the player and for Dave Roberts. Like, he trusts his instinct as well. And I know we've seen it. Like I've joked around with you guys. Oh, this is a computer baseball decision and stuff like that. Like, I'm joking, but unfortunately, like, there is that perception that, you know, they are being strictly run by analytics and stuff like that. And I hope Dave Roberts, what we saw this October, I hope he gets more credit going forward. I think also, and he's the first to admit it, to say this, the players deserve credit as well, because he was putting them in the right spots, but then they were following through. Like, you know, if this game would have gone sideways or a couple other games, like it wouldn't have necessarily been his fault per se, right? Like Jack Flaherty going out and putting the Dodgers in an immediate deficit.
How to get him out
is no bearing on Dave Roberts. And so if they wouldn't have necessarily come back, like, would he have been blamed for that somehow? Probably. I think it would have stretched back to game 4 and that whole decision, but we don't need to rehash that stuff now.
Yeah, no, it's the name of it. It's, you know, the process. It's this, you can put the players out there, they've got to go execute. It's the elephant in the room with players and managers. It's like the players are the ones playing the games. And the amount of times I've sat on here and at the end of it, like, at some decision happens, and I know Anthony's got this in his bag too. It's like he can put them out there. He's not the one standing at the plate taking the swings. He calls for a sacrifice bunt. If they don't get it down, he's not the one doing that. You know, for whatever it is, like, Dave Roberts is not the one up there taking the swings. He can give you the blueprint, but you've got to go execute it and build it. So, Anthony, what did you learn about Dave Roberts here that maybe you had in your mind and you just wanted to see it play out and on the biggest stage this whole run? How did you see it? What did you see?
Well, I think he's definitely matured as a manager. I think these experiences have really helped him grow because he wasn't the guy that he was in this postseason in postseasons past. Part of that is he didn't have the guys that he could trust, but also it was just like I think what you saw this year was he was early to get guys, instead of late. And we've seen him a lot of times in the past be too late to make moves. And it felt like there were instances on multiple occasions in past postseasons that the game moved too quickly for him, and he wasn't ready to make a call or make a move when the time called for it. And by the time he realized it or made the move, the moment had passed and the game was lost. And I think this year he erred on the side of, you know what, I'm going to do this earlier. And if it's a little too early, then so be it. But I'm not going to get beat by leaving a guy in too long. And, there were some times where it was borderline or,
unless it was Flaherty.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. And so there were still those instances. But, I keep referring back to this because this guy is like now a no doubt Hall of Fame manager. But Bruce Bochy was about to be out of baseball as a big league manager. Maybe he would have latched on like Bob Guerin has as a bench coach or something like that. But he was done. He wasn't going to get another job. The Giants got him. And he went from a guy who was on his way out of baseball as a manager to a Hall of Famer because he had arms he could rely on and trust in each of those runs. And what was interesting about that was he had one trio of relievers in 10.
Yeah.
They ran him into the ground. They missed the playoffs. They came back, had a kind of a different trio. Romo was still there in 12. They relied on them heavily. They won again. They ran him into the ground again. Then they came back with a third trio of guys, and they had better starting pitching too in that last run. And then again fell off the cliff, right? In terms of like that wasn't an organization that could like sustain success in the postseason. But when they got there, they took advantage, right? And he became a Hall of Fame manager. That wasn't because he started pushing different buttons. It was because he had the players who were executing. And like I said, Doc has made some really horrendous decisions in the postseason, but part of that, and also separately from that, have been he's made some of those decisions or hasn't made some of those decisions because he didn't have the players that he trusted enough to execute. It's why Clayton Kershaw got left in longer than he should have against a bunch of teams, right? Like stuff that. It's why the Astros series went the way it did, in some of those high scoring games. And this year he had the arms that he could trust, and he changed how he managed them as well. And that was a big difference. I think he matured as a manager. He deserves all the credit for that.
Yeah, different set of circumstances. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I'm going to turn it over to Matt. I'll be right back, Chad. Don't you forget. Smooth sound of my voice. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
All right. We're still going. Let's see. We have more super chats here. Jedi Engineer says it's been a great season, guys. Parade coverage. So the Dodgers, if you missed it, they did announce the parade is on Friday. It lines up, I don't want to say nicely because unfortunately he's not here with us anymore, but it would have been Fernando Valenzuela's 64th birthday. So I think it'll be unique for the city to get to celebrate that and sort of remember his memory again. It is ending at Dodger Stadium. They haven't announced any sort of media policies or anything yet for us, but if I'm assuming they're doing media, but if for whatever reason that's kind of restricted, like we still will certainly be covering it. So definitely follow us. Alan M gave us a super sticker. Thank you for that. I can't see it on our streaming platform, but hopefully it was a good one. Let's see. Yeah, this was another Jedi Engineer with another super chat. This is something I was going to bring up earlier too when we were discussing Dave Roberts. If 2017 wasn't stolen, Dave would have 3. And yeah, I mean, I think that kind of, to my point of if players had, maybe performed, if a player so-and-so got a hit here or a pitcher got an out there, like, does he have more World Series? The Dodgers, as Jedi Engineer, the Dodgers literally had a World Series stolen from them. They were cheated out of one. Like, it's not being hyperbolic. Yes. I was trying to figure out which word was best for it. And yeah, I mean, I think we would be looking at not only Dave Roberts, but Andrew Friedman, who gets some criticism at times. Just the organization, the players as well. Some of the guys, although I guess a lot of them at this point have sort of phased out. Barnes is still around. I guess Kike was on that team,
but
now
I think
back.
the organization as a whole too, wears a different face because coming into this season, aside from 2020, the entire narrative, like Fox even ran graphics on it of like postseason failures. They were like, sort of like Buffalo Bills light. Because they had been such a good regular season team and couldn't turn it into playoff success except for 2020. And so if they do win in 17, not only does it change Doc's legacy, but it changes the legacy of what the organization is and how they're seen. Like if they win in 17, they win in 20, and they win in 24, like we discussed earlier, baseball legacies are different. They have to be stretched out over a longer period of time. We're starting to talk about this is a true like dynasty. Like from 17 to like, let's say 26, maybe they win one in 26. Maybe, if they don't win next year, maybe it's 26. 4 titles in less than 10 years. That's a dynasty in baseball.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too, is then if you look at it, if you take that a step further, what are people saying about Clayton Kershaw from 2018 to 2020 if the Dodgers win that year?
Another guy whose legacy would have totally changed. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, we can't go back and rewrite history, but you can enjoy what is happening right now in the moment. And I know a lot of people are. Undisputed Talk says number 8 in 24. Kobe, yes, this is the Dodgers' 8th World Series title in franchise history. Of course, it's 2024.
That Spike Lee intro on the game today was pretty cool, where he led with Kobe and Kobe saying like, "What is there to be happy about? We're not done yet." Like that was cool that Spike Lee threw that in there.
Yeah, definitely. One thing real quick, let me pause the super chats. I don't know if I had a chance to ask you who had more pressure in this World Series. You think it was the Dodgers or the Yankees? Because as much as you just outlined, and Fox was playing it up, the postseason failures, this and that, like, and I get that it is frustrating and there aren't consolation prizes to say, hey, the Dodgers at least were getting, to play in the postseason 11 years in a row. Like I get all of that. Like that this franchise wants more. Fine. The fans want more. The Yankees had not been in the World Series since 2009.
Yeah.
So do you think there's? Sorry, go ahead.
I think it was different pressure for each team, but very heavy. These two are the reason why it was interesting that this was the World Series. Not aside from it being the 2 biggest markets and like the 2 juggernaut kind of franchises, is that they both had a tremendous amount of pressure on them when the first pitch was thrown in spring training. And for different reasons. The Dodgers because of the postseason failures, and then they went on a spending spree and got Otani and got Yamamoto and signed to Oscar and traded for Glasnow, all and extended him, all of that stuff, right? On top of having other 9-figure players in Mookie and Freddy, and then the Yankees just had the pressure of like, okay, you have a murderer's row after the Soto trade. You have a true ace in Garrett Cole. What are you going to do with it? Because the expectation here is a ring. And so the first one in a long time. So I think they had equal amounts of pressure, but it was coming from different, it was hitting them from different sides. And so I think they both felt it. And I think the way the Yankees lost, this one's going to linger, because if they don't bring Soto back, I don't think Stanton and Judge are enough in that lineup. And like Volpe's good, but like, again, I don't think that they're deep enough there. And they're, what is the starting pitching? How does that work out? How does the bullpen work out? Because it wasn't great. Like they made a good run, but I don't know that they were like head and shoulders the best team in the league, the way it feels like the Dodgers were the best team in their league. And so the Yankees could very much be one and done and not come back for a while. Whereas the Dodgers, I think the expectation is going to be like, okay, how many times can you do it now?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I heard the back end of that, and I wanted to chime in like with they traded for Jazz Chisholm, and it's like I totally agree. Like it's teams that have those core pillar pieces of a lineup and the kind of linchpin spots where, yeah, if they don't re-sign Soto, it's big implications there. Absolutely. So, man, yeah, you're spot on. How much is that window going to be there for them? So we'll see. Like Garrett Cole, all world talent, but how much do they really have? Aside from the young guys, young cats, Rodon. kind of feels like that slippery slope type of guy. Things got to align perfectly.
And remember, they're an organization that is very leery of the tax now.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know how they improve.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% there. We got some super chats here. Robert, having Dino on the show was awesome. Thanks, Blake. Yeah, shout out to Blake, man. That was cool. That was one of the coolest parts of tonight. Absolutely. I love that. No doubt. Congratulations to all of them there. David, I just want to say I love you guys from Jeff Spiegel, Anthony, the Passion, and the Python. Is that what it is? Witrado, yeah, Matt Moreno, Blake Williams, Scott, and the rest of the crew. Let's do some food podcasts over the winter. Those are my favorite, Matt. Where are you?
We'll give Scott a pass. He won't do the food. Well, go ahead. Do you want to break some news?
Hey, what are you celebrating tonight? What are you getting?
Oh yeah, I got to find at this point I need to find a Carl's Jr. that's open late. Go get a double Western bacon cheeseburger. But wait, I was looking forward to it last night. I knew it was going to be a late night whenever the Dodgers clinched. I thought it was going to happen last night. Delayed it to tonight. It was down 5-0. I thought, man, I'm just going to eat it tonight anyway. I'm not going to wait for these guys keep, putting this off.
I'm not doing this.
And that was right when the comeback started. Once I felt that way, then they started coming back. It was like, okay, then this is going to work out nicely.
Right. You need a ring. You should get a ring for that.
Yeah, definitely. To the food question, we could definitely weave some non-baseball stuff in during the off season. I know one thing Scott and Blake might be doing is playing the show. I remember a few weeks ago there was some heated back and forth over who's better between the two of them. And then I forgot, was it Derek? Somebody who's in here all the time said we needed to live stream that. So I think we'll try to
I'll mop Blake.
To do that.
Easy. And then bring me Andy Pajes. I'll mop him up too. And yeah.
You have to give that context. You can't just say I didn't know that Pajes plays, so you need to explain.
Yeah, he's Andy Pajes. Andy Pajes is a terrific MLB The Show player, but I know some dirt on you in MLB The Show, Andy. I don't forget what you did. But yeah, that'd be awesome if we could somehow make that happen. But I know for a fact, I don't know how much support there'll be about a stream like that. But if people want to do it and there's some viewership to it, I'll hop on there, wipe Blake down, for about 3 games. We'll play best of 3. It'll be over in 2. People can wager a little bit, do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. HK also watched the Dodgers in the 70s and the 80s, golden era a lot of the time. I attended the 1977 World Series Game 5 versus New York Yankees. Still have the ticket stubs. That's incredible, man.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Like, I love hearing about this stuff. Dad even saw Los Angeles Dodgers at the Coliseum way back when. Thanks for all the work this year. I appreciate these type of things. When I forgot who I was speaking with. I think it was my girlfriend, and I was talking about how we've got a lot of the fan base that we have, some an older demographic that have seen a lot more ball, and then out of nowhere I got a DM on Instagram from a fan, I believe it was in Australia, telling me that been watching for so many years and appreciating all the work that we do. And they've just been following this team for forever. And that's the type of stuff that's really cool from my end. And I know you both have encountered a ton of fans, in all your writing, different places, people you've met, similar experience there. So it doesn't go, it's not lost on me, the impact that we have and all the people that we reach with the writing and just hopping on here and chatting ball for a bit. That's what it's all about. Robert, as a young boy, I watched my uncle destroy his TV watching Reggie Jackson and the Yanks beating us in the World Series. Fernando Mania was exciting. Yeah, I'm jealous of everybody who got to experience Fernando Mania firsthand. It cultural revolution there. Impact goes well beyond anything we can, I can understand. Chi, another one, most injured World Series champion of all time. Where's Matt? Where from that end? How surprised are you with sure, probably damn surprised. You ever think this pitching staff could do it? Did you ever think that they could formulate a plan with the arms that they had? That's a better question. Do you think they could have formulated a plan to make this type of thing happen?
I think Anthony and I did a live stream late, and it might have been after a Buehler start or a couple days after one of his starts, and he kept sort of trending in the right direction, and Anthony and I jokingly used this wording, but agreed that we could see concepts of a plan for the Dodgers to win the World Series.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I could see it from that sense, but honestly, I worried that if they needed to lean so heavily on their bullpen, were they going to be able to do it like to enough to win the world? Like maybe they get to the World Series, and I think you could sort of argue the bullpen might have started to run out of gas, last night, tonight type thing with the guys.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest doubt. Was I wasn't sure if if Flaherty wasn't going to consistently get, like, they needed a break somewhere, and Yamamoto wasn't stretched out enough to give them length. Buehler obviously wasn't either, so it was going to sort of rely on Flaherty to give them innings that never really came, at least not consistently. And so that was my biggest doubt. I thought, okay, you could talk me into the offense could carry them there, fine. But I remember one thing I said is, hey, like, I think I was on with Alan Slewa, who's had me on a couple times on his show. I said, I think, the Dodgers, they can win it if Otani basically goes crazy. And I know, Scott, I told this to you guys, like, if he goes on, one of his player of the month type runs, that fine. They, I could see them getting there. Some of that was based in being concerned about what we've seen from Mookie the past couple of years and not knowing if he would turn it around in October, and if he didn't, they were going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Yes.
Ironically, the bullpen got it done. Like I said, maybe they're running on fumes at this point, but they found a way to do it. And Otani, like, in the World Series, at least, like, was and I know he got hurt, so fine, but non-existent. And so if you would have told me that this is how it was going to go, I would have said there's no way the Dodgers get it done.
Just give me 11 wins, guys. Just find a way to give me 11 wins. Like, find a way to make it happen. And that's got to be the thing with Dave Roberts and talking to them and the plan going into it, finding the roadmap to 27 outs each night. How are they going to do it? When looking at it and how to formulate a plan to, for this pitching staff, I believed overall the talent could have done it, but it was a matter of when those lights turn on, when the script flips to those postseason games, how was Yamamoto going to fare? And then he didn't, and then he bounced back. So it was a lot of learning on the fly. And I think that's why, like, my affinity grew so much for this group. And it just seemed like they kept learning and the plan kept coming together and how to, each guys. And that speaks to, learning their team and what each guy can do and staying in ball games, because other teams that aren't as talented don't have this much, veteran presence about it. Probably if they get knocked in the mouth, they don't get back up. They don't have the time to be able to learn from one round to the next. And then you got to see it right here. They got knocked in the mouth early. Their two gets knocked down hard, and then they battle back there and crown themselves champions here. Ozzy, thank you for an awesome season. You guys are the best. You're the best. World Series champs. What a season from mad super chats to happy super chats all year. We've had some crazy ones where it's like we have it off to the side and we're like, can we really put this up there? Do we really want to start this conversation? It'll be at like we'll cover something about Dave and like the 30-second mark and with a super chat, and we'll pop it up first thing. And then like an hour into the stream, somebody brings it back up and we're like, we brought it up earlier, way earlier, but we'll do it again. Yes. Ozzy, I mean, the ray of emotion this year from fans, the roller coaster, that's what makes it so special. Matt, Anthony can speak to this as well. It's what makes the game great. It's what makes this end of coverage from our aspect and going on camera and kind of laying it on the line each time you're doing it, that you've got a lot of frustrations being aired at you nightly, whether it's a good day or bad day. You handle it all. We handle it all. So yeah, to you, Ozzy, thanks for being here. Anthony, I know you had some funny mad super chats in your mind this year that are just stuck. I've got some too on myself that I've defended or gone against. Like, it's been a crazy year on that front, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a gaggle of them that just stand out, and I think it's always the ones where like it's always the sky is falling ones. Like, this team is trash. Otani sucks. He's not clutch. Like it's all of those, and it's like, what, the guy's on his way to a 50-50 season, or they're about to win the hardest division in baseball by a handful of games and be the best record in base. And it was like it's all of those, but like those are fans, right? Like those are fan reactions, and part of our work here is to engage with that stuff, and also to like provide sort of a sense of like perspective, and to say, okay, yes, but also this thing too, like don't forget this, and like all of that kind of stuff. And we'll always say, like, you think we got it bad? Like, go over to any other of the 29 teams, live show, because I'll tell you what, they're not doing this one right now. They're not doing this one right now.
Yeah, special stuff here. We've got a couple more super chats, and then we're going to call it a night. I'm going to let each of these incredible gentlemen get their final word on this season here. But to one of the loyal people we've got in here, John Blue, thanks for supporting us all year long. Every night. We appreciate it. You're always in chat. I've been a Dodger fan for 47 years. Special stuff. That's special stuff. I love 1981, 88, 2020, but 2024 was special. I agree. So with so much of that. Thank you, Dodger Blue, for your commitment and hard work. Go Dodgers. Yeah, John. I mean, there's just so much to like about this year. It's why I kept echoing every single night. Listen, watch, read, absorb as much as you can. Enjoy the ride every single night. These players are very transparent this year, more than I've heard in years past. And I think that a lot of that comes from being, so together as a unit. They've broken that line. And I want to bring this up earlier, like with Max Muncy said, like the front office came to them and they, in 2023 about having the bye week and pressing and talking about simulating an environment going into the playoffs. And Max saying, yeah, they brought in some fans and tried to make some things work, but it just didn't work out. And then they all said, we're going to, just give me this time, give me 8 hours a day for this duration. You'll be the best husband and father after the postseason. And it showed, John, in this postseason, how special of a group they were. So absorb as much as you can, everybody. Like, John, thank you so much for this one.
Yeah, and that mindset, that it was interesting to hear Muncy share that kind of information. It works for me. Like the bowling, the ping pong, the movies, all that stuff can wait. Like it's one more month at this point. You guys have already been together. Like Scott, like you said, just go win 11 games.
Let's go win 11 games, find a way to do it. Like this unit was already incredibly talented. It was about, looking in towards the postseason, that it's a completely different animal. We saw things from these guys. Like I hyped up Tommy Edman because I was like, yes, he's going to be a useful player, a talented guy. Like we know what he's done. Like he's capable of being a Swiss Army knife, a useful piece. Who could have seen he's going to be the NLCS MVP? It's because the Dodgers put players like that in advantageous spots that they're best in. They do their best to put these guys in spots to be successful. And that's when they thrive. And it helps when you have a clubhouse that's so tight knit. And I've never seen a group like this, just from my experience. That's why it's so special for me. So just a lot of surprises throughout the year. Yeah, I'm gonna be loving this one. I might not go to bed till 5 a.m. I'm watching so much. Yeah. Ravens Moreland, concept of a plan. I was at the Kings game and they showed it on the crypto screen. It was amazing. Yeah. I mean,
that's cool. That's been a cool thing too, is like we've seen that happen. Obviously, the game 1 of the World Series was the big one, right? Because the home run USC was playing. I know it's been a little bit of a rough patch for the three of us, actually, and them.
Yep.
But they were playing. The Lakers were playing, and USC, they didn't show it, but they came back from a commercial. I watched the game after we took care of all our stuff late that night, and they were showing people like holding up their phones, like watching the Dodgers, and then the crowd just went crazy. At the Laker game, they put it up on the video board, so it was cool to see. And now, obviously, tonight the Kings doing the same thing. Like it's cool. It's fun when, LA, we don't need the Clippers, we don't need UCLA. When they kind of come together and support each other that way, I think it's always fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. Jedi Engineer, happy for Kiermaier, final year, and he gets a ring. Same thing. Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Kiermaier, retiring as well. From his stuff there.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what goes on there. But same thing. Kevin Kiermaier, best eyes in Major League Baseball. Girlfriend took note of that, and I had to calm her down. Kevin Kiermaier, congratulations to him. Daniel Hudson, congratulations to the both of them. If they're both retired, I know Daniel Hudson for sure. Kevin Kiermaier, we'll see. But just some terrific storylines this year. Don Kim, again, another one of the loyal people we've got in here day in and day out. Again, tuning in. We appreciate you. Congratulations to you, as a fan, as a supporter of Dodger Blue. So just wanted to say thank you to everyone at Dodger Blue. I mean, we are nothing without the support of people who tune in. So without a doubt, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the viewership day in and day out, good and bad. Alan, first time comment. Guys, I live in the PNW. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in for the first time. I've said it a bunch, pull up a chair, stay a while. We've got terrific people on staff, great minds, great, knowledge of, Dodgers history, insight into the game. We all kind of have our own little spot that we fit in here. Grayson, another one, man. We all the day ones. I went to 3 different locations tonight to watch this game. That's crazy. I would have lost my mind. I was in one square in my house that I was pacing back and forth in, not talking to anybody. I went to 3 different locations, many, many beers later, and I finally celebrated for a full season championship. For whatever people think about 2020, this 2024 season washes all of it away, right? And, for Anthony, what the first thought in your mind, I know when it kind of hits, Joe Davis touched on it. He spoke on 2020 season and how everybody's saying they couldn't do it in a full 162 slate with the road that they took, starting with the Padres, then to the Mets, who were the gimmick kings of the world. What can you, speak to, kind of the culmination here, wrap this into our final thoughts, send us home, buddy. What does this championship mean for you?
I think for me, like in my adult life, I think it's really when you start to appreciate sports, like legacy and success and things like that. So early 20s when the Lakers started their run with Kobe and Shaq, and then, sort of like mid to late 20s when Kobe and Pau did it. And so really got to appreciate those, especially the Game 7 against Boston.
Yeah.
And then, I'm a baseball guy. We're a baseball family. The consistent heartbreak of this team, going back to before Guggenheim, when Shane Victorino and Matt Stairs were the guys that you wanted to go throw rocks at their windshield, those guys, right? Going back then even, and
Bobby Abreu.
Yeah, yes, all of it. The all of those teams, right? And then through all the early Clayton Kershaw playoff letdowns, and losing to the Cardinals a couple to all of that stuff, right? And it's just okay, well, when is this team going to do it for you? When is this team going to do it for us? And Los Angeles and Dodger Nation is such a well-traveled and loyal fan base, and the heartbreak just kept getting worse and worse and worse, right? Because you were you knew this window it's not going to stay open forever, and it's okay. And then the 2020 was great, and it let off so much pressure, but then you had to hear from everyone else about how it was a short season, and baseball players did not think that. They knew how tough that was and how difficult it was, but it's all right, man, you just really want to shut everybody up, right? And Max Muncy made a comment about it tonight. He said it was absolutely a thing that stuck in their side. And so to finally do this, to do it against the Yankees, and to do it in such a dominant fashion, and to do it in a season where you had so many expectations heaped upon you in the wintertime, and then every other fan base wanted you to fail. And then to do it and to live up to everything that you were supposed to be in December, it feels so good.
So good. So good. Matt, real quick, with that, to what Anthony said, the past few years, Dodgers have gone through a lot of, heartbreak, a lot of highs in the regular season. And then we look towards the postseason, and when people say, yeah, it's kind of all that really matters. And Jeff spoke to, appreciating the highs of the regular season. I've said that, a good bit to myself. But with, tonight being the culmination of all those frustrations and the battle-tested stuff that they've gone through this postseason, just walk me through your final thoughts and articulate, what it means for you as a fan, as an analyst, kind of where you stand. Just a little bit for us.
Yeah, I mean the 2020 thing is interesting, because as Anthony said, it's only other fan bases that bring that up. Oh, it was a short season. No player has come out and said stuff like that, and I think it was on our.
He doesn't count.
Well, yeah, and then he ended up walking some of that back a little bit, right? Or at least he tried to. I think he saw kind of the response to that, and then he tried to sort of clean it up a little bit.
Yeah,
but I expressed it on, I forgot what show it was, but I went on a little bit of a tangent and I said, look, and I'll do it again real quick. Padres fans celebrated in Gaslamp when they had won a wild card series that year in 2020 to go to the NLDS. If you were in San Diego, if you turned on the news, you were seeing nothing but parade shots all throughout Gaslamp. So the season clearly mattered, right? Like they were excited to be winning that wild card series and going to the NLDS.
Yeah.
So at what point did the switch change? Well, it changed when your team got eliminated.
Lost.
All of a sudden that year didn't matter. And not only like the Dodgers, let's also remember that was an expanded postseason field where the Dodgers had to play a wild card series despite having the best record in baseball. So there was no advantage that year because of just how weird everything was. So they had to play the extra games, in October. Then they won the NLDS. And then they had to be in a bubble and just everything like going on in the world, like still trying to focus on a sport and trying to win. Like that's challenging. And they did it.
Yep.
They came back from 3-1 against the Braves in the NLCS to do it. So why is it that 2020 doesn't count? Why aren't people focusing on the fact that the Braves arguably choked? They were up 3-1. What would we be hearing if the Dodgers, if it even got to a game 6 against the Yankees, what were we going to be hearing for the next few days? Oh, the Dodgers are choking this away. Here they go again. I think some of it has to do with the Dodgers and the expectations that Anthony mentioned. Scott, you mentioned it, the pressure on them every year. So for me, like I didn't care. Like the Dodgers won the World Series. That's it. This one, I think externally, like basically puts all of that to bed. Because not only have they won in a quote unquote full season, they did it with, look at the players on the injured list. Look at Freddy Freeman pushing through his sprint, not basically, having to sit 2 NLCS. Freddy Freeman doesn't sit ever. He had to sit 2 playoff games in the NLCS because he couldn't play. 8 weeks ago, was dealing with stuff much more important than baseball and winning a World Series with his son and his family. Clayton Kershaw's not able to pitch. Walker Buehler's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Tyler Glasnow's not able to pitch. So when you factor all of that in, like we're going to get into this in some of our off-season shows.
You're
like,
spitting right now, man.
This World Series win ranks definitely like it's top 3 at worst in Dodgers franchise history. The ones that come to mind right now are probably the first one in Brooklyn, probably 88 because that was also improbable, and now this one. Like those to me are like the top 3, and then 2020 is maybe in that conversation depending on how you want to evaluate things. So at minimum, it's definitely I think one of the best championship seasons kind of ever when you factor everything in. Pressure, injuries, freaking betting scandal that nobody else has ever had to deal with their star player, like not their star player, but he's implicated because of his interpreter, stuff like that. So that ended up being a much longer answer than I planned to give you. So I apologize. I thank everybody for listening to me ramble there. I know we still have more super chats, so I want to make sure we get to those.
No, man. I mean, you nailed right on the head. Like that's the reason why I hopped on and Jeff asked me like where it ranks for me, or like it's my favorite team of all time. It's my favorite team I've ever watched. And I know like a lot of stuff, like I think it was 13 against the Braves, with 13 or 14 against the Braves, Juan Uribe homer. I don't know why, tongue twister, Martini getting me. But there are so many elements to this season that I appreciated, like individually, like all the highs, the lows, like understanding where the Dodgers have been at in years past and just getting back to square and then find the identity. And they did it. And it all played out. It was very vocal. And it was everything that we could tune into it all. And it wasn't hidden. And I love that. And I appreciate it. It was when the lights turned on, the lights went bright. It's like all the players started to open up more about the journey. And that's what is something that we'll appreciate. And I can't wait for the movie and all the documentaries and stuff to come out about this. It's going to be a hell of a time. I'm glad the Dodgers are the ones that are going to, on top because of it. Carlos says, can you guys give me some info on the parade? I can tell you that it's scheduled on Friday at 11 a.m. Gloria Molina Grand Park on Spring Street in front of City Hall in downtown LA. Tune in if you need all the info. If Matt can post, I don't know, somebody will post the link to our story. We have one up on DodgerBlue.com with all the info there, schedule and all the details. But Carlos, yes, so it'll be Friday. Everybody, I know I'm going to do my best to get there. Once in a lifetime thing. Nobody can ever take it away from me, ever. So I'll be doing my best to get there. Anthony, I know you will be, man.
I'll be there. I will be there. Yep.
Yeah. Matt, you thinking about it? You got work to do.
It's going to depend on how they handle stuff, what kind of access we're going to get for media. If because it's ending at Dodger Stadium. That's what's not necessarily clear. Is
they have like a ticketed event. Is that what it says?
Right. Yeah, but they haven't released any info on the tickets yet. I'm inclined to believe that season ticket holders get like priority access to those. So I'm assuming that they'll also then let media cover that out of the press box. So Blake and I will have to figure that stuff out. But
there we go.
Yeah, we'll see.
So stay tuned, guys. Like we might have some more
Dodger
Blue coverage.
Dodger Blue will be there.
We will be there.
Is the easy way to answer that.
Yeah. We'll be there. So again, pull up a chair, stay a while, tune in, follow us on social medias. We'll be going through that. Carlos Mookie's first year, won a ring for Shohei's first year. Just incredible. Blueprint started up. He can check one box right off the ring thing. So he says he wants 3 rings, and there's your first one, Shohei. Historic season in the Dodgers team, around him rallies, even though he was good, but he didn't have like an otherworldly type postseason performance. But it was his presence that did so much for this team here. Chi says it's been 48 years since the 1976 Reds repeated FYI. Well, they got the first one out of the way. So we'll see what they can cook up in the offseason and how they can keep, a lot of the band together and keep those vibes, because it's these type of performances that propel guys into different parts of their careers. So I think it's worth a lot that they bonded so much. And we'll see how many of these guys that are potential free agents are brought back and how much they can keep it all together. Alan, here's the thing. Tired of hearing San Francisco fans chirp and Low Bros and SD talk smack. Finally, shut up. Go Dodgers. Doc to the Hall of Fame, as Mel Gibson said in Braveheart. Freeman. Yeah, lots to unpack there. But definitely, Freddie Freeman. No better person for all these things to happen and stuff like that. Carlos, 2020 beat the Padres in the NLDS, won the World Series. 2024 beat them in the NLDS, won the World Series. Maybe we should beat them every year in the NLDS.
I'm all right with that.
All right with that. That would you'd have a lot of upset Padre fans year after year and probably beat down and probably be asking for a change in division at that point. And maybe they'll want to lose to get a different spot in the wild card so they can avoid the Dodgers if that's the case. And I know somebody brought up Manny Machado's paycheck type of thing. What did he say? What did he bet all these years ago?
His contract is, I think it was his first one, like it was $300 million or something. He bet the guy. He said that the Padres would win first, and now it's been 2. And I don't think Machado's paid up yet. So somebody's got to go collect.
New phone.
Guess I'm getting a lot of memorabilia. Blake's getting a lot of Star Wars memorabilia. Anthony, I don't know. What are we getting, man? Where are we going?
I need golf equipment.
Get a golf. Yeah. All right, Anthony. All right. Come on, Machado. Come on. Got a lot of people who need some stuff. All right. Let's see. G says again, thanks. G, all the support tonight. Thank you. 1981 World Series title was weirder than 2020 2-month strike, expanded playoff rule, playoff round due to first half winners and second half winners. 1981 equals 2020. Just weird. That's something I have not looked into a lot, but I'm sure that Matt, you know a good bit about this at all?
No. But I forget that 1981 that did happen, and that was
it was like in the middle of the year too. It wasn't like at the start of the season.
Different times. Yeah, definitely different times there.
But to just quickly on the Dodger hate, no one calls the Spurs title in their lockout year like a fake championship. That counts toward that Spurs dynasty.
It only happens because the Dodgers had some playoff blunders and they didn't win it. That's the only reason that they hate on 2020. That's the only reason.
It's because the Dodgers.
That's it. It's because the Dodgers.
Only 2 franchises in baseball where it would not have where people would have said this are the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Yes, global brands. Yeah, they everybody saying the evil empire. Blah blah blah. Everybody can shut up. 2024, get wrecked. W team. Carlos, sorry, keeping you guys up with the super chats. Yeah, we're 3 hours.
All right. No need to apologize though.
Yeah, you don't got to apologize. Definitely the longest stream ever been a part of, but it's worth it. Look what we did. Lifetime memory tonight. So it's all good. Soy, I think I want to just from Dave Poppy. The Yankees lose. They did. Yeah, this one for my grandpa Francisco Cazares. Yeah, fan since 1961. Shout out to you. Fan since 1961. I can only hope to that point, be fan of a team for that long, to driving from Phoenix to LA tomorrow for the parade. Enjoy the hell out of it. Everybody, enjoy the hell out of tonight. This was a very special day. The Los Angeles Dodgers, 2024 World Series champions. Matt, I want to give you just a second. Take the floor for us here, and then we're going to send everybody home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're happy that this is how the season ended. It was certainly a long year, and for us, it started with sending Blake out to South Korea. Whole new experience for him. It ends with Blake covering a World Series win in New York, so we're happy for him personally. I can't say enough thank yous to Scott, to Anthony, to Blake, to Jeff, to Sebastian, to Daniel, to Greg Bergman, who was on for a little bit when this show, everybody who has kind of contributed and or is part of our staff. And of course, all our viewers and listeners and readers. You guys make this fun for us. You guys make this go. Without the support that we get, we wouldn't be here, honestly. And I'm not just trying to say this to butter everybody up. It's the simple truth that without you guys, we've had tremendous growth this season. We made a shift leading up to the trade deadline to do more live shows. We ended up going live on average 5, if not 6 nights a week. And the response was there from you guys. You didn't get sick of us. You continued to support us. And it was great. I'm happy that that the Dodgers were able to win a World Series and we were able to kind of celebrate with everybody tonight. Scott, you said it. I know in 2020, Daniel and Jeff did a long live show. I don't think they got to 3 hours. So I'm assuming this is probably a record for us. And so, the chat's been going the entire night. Nobody got tired of it. So just a big thank you to everybody. And we're not going anywhere. Blake is going. He's been texting us. He's going through some GoPro footage from the clubhouse. So that's going to be up on our YouTube channel. Obviously, the parade's coming up. And then, hey, free agency starts tomorrow at 6 a.m. our time. So what off season? What off season, right?
Going to Cancun. I'm taking a break.
Scott's going to host a couple live shows from poolside during the winter.
Wish I was going to Cancun, but yeah, that's all the other teams have been hanging out in Cancun. Now we can do it with a title.
Definitely. But yeah, just a big thank you. And a reminder that we're not going, we might scale back how many live shows we're doing per week just because, stuff does dry up, but DodgerBlue.com, our Twitter account, our YouTube channel, we're going to keep that active. Every day we'll have some fresh content for you guys throughout the off season. And then before we know it, it's going to be spring training again.
No doubt. Anthony, final thoughts? I'll send us home after that.
Yeah, look, just a great season. I had a fantastic first year doing this with everybody. Got to be a fan again, and it felt fantastic. And for it to end this way, all the investment that and the sweat and the stress and all of that you put into a season as a fan, this is the payoff. Everyone enjoy it. This is the payoff. This is what it feels like.
Yeah. Everybody tuning in, 5,600 in here, 3 hour plus. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy the next few weeks. Enjoy this for a very long time. There's going to be a hell of a lot of media coming out about it. Watch every video, read every article. We're going to be putting out a ton. Enjoy the hell out of this 2024 Dodgers team. It was a special one. It's going to have a place for me in my mind, my heart for a really long time. They've had an incredible road, regular season, ups and downs, beating the Padres, beating the Mets, beating the New York Yankees. Comeback like tonight is something that you put a cap on it. Started off with Freddy Freeman's walk-off grand slam, mirroring Kirk Gibson. So all around special stuff. Again, do us a favor. Throw us a like, subscribe, notification bell, share this around. If you want to watch it back tomorrow, just to relive some stuff here, we appreciate you. We had an interview earlier with Dodgers third base coach Dino Ebel from Yankee Stadium. We had Landon Knack on as well. Congratulations to all of them. Congratulations to the chat, all of the people that support us. Enjoy being a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers. My name is Scott Geirman. This is Anthony Witrado. That's Matt Moreno. We appreciate you all tuning in of the home of the 2024 Los Angeles Dodgers, the World Series champions. You guys have a great night. You all take care.